Microphone check, 1 2 1 2. Microphone check. This is the Reverb Experiment, episode number 2. We want to thank everybody that has been listening. We had listeners from France, from Alaska, first episode. So we just want to thank all of our listeners, all the listeners on YouTube, all the listeners on Spotify, all the listeners on Apple Podcast, all the listeners on Stitcher. Everybody that's listened to the podcast for the first episode, we want to definitely appreciate it, and those that listen to 1.5. So today...
Oh, we did have 1.5.
We did have 1.5. We have a special guest in the building, but first, I'm going to introduce myself. This is G_Focus.
Focus.
To my left, the always impressionable, beautiful, intelligent Steph.net.
That's good.
We also have... to her left.
Damn, you're going to be good at... Hope you nail that.
The award-winning, soon-to-be award-winning producer / artist / next best thing to come out of Sacramento. We have Rajeo. Rajeo.
Hey,
and then to his left.
There you go.
Hey, press some of those DJ sounds.
We're going to get him in. We're going to get him in. We have Liz. She is the president of the NLG Sacramento chapter. She is also a legal consultant at the Department of Justice. She is also a professor that will be teaching classes on social injustices at ARC.
What?
And she is also the founder of the newfound podcast with Chuck D. The Organized Voices.
Whoa. And so she's also my new attorney, my representation.
We're the people's attorney, so got you.
We will be calling.
Yeah, so we wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
We
having
know
me.
that you have been extremely busy with all the protests and the inquiries and just all the craziness that's been going on, so we appreciate you taking time out to join us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate the invite.
So we all know why we're here today.
What is that? Something new happened?
Something has been happening.
Yeah, something new has been happening.
And we want to definitely make sure that we send our condolences to all the families that have been affected by police brutality and social injustices anywhere, not just in the United States. Some of the names that we know that have been ring true in our brains and in our hearts that we have known that have suffered from the social injustices and the police brutality. For us in Sacramento, definitely Stefan Clark rings true. Alton Sterling, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, Sean Bell, Breonna Taylor, Oscar Grant are just a couple names, just to name a few.
Too many.
And they're still ongoing.
Just with that list.
And there's names that we haven't even heard of or found out about yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
On May 25th, our worlds all changed because of a video that was recorded by a smartphone. So on May 25th, a deli employee called 911 on 46-year-old George Floyd, accusing him of buying cigarettes with a counterfeit $20 bill. The responding Minneapolis officers, Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King, Tal Tiel, and Derek Chauvin, murdered George Floyd in cold blood.
Yep.
Lane and King held Mr. Floyd down while Tal stood watch. The crushing blow was the ultimately that led to Floyd's death was Derek Chauvin applying pressure to George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds with his knee directly on his neck until George Floyd was unresponsive. The murder of George Floyd has sparked protests the next day on May 26th in Minneapolis that resulted to the burning down of the 3rd Precinct building and eventually would spark protests across the globe. So, before we get into the interview,
Damn, bro.
I wanted to ask, because obviously the officers have been arrested and charged. Are we all happy with the charges and the arrest of the police thus far?
You want to go first?
We'll start with Liz.
Oh, you guys got to go first because there's a legal explanation for it, and then there's like an emotional explanation for
Okay.
it. So there's two different things.
So
there.
we're gonna start with Steph.
Yeah.
Steph.net.
My first mind says no, just because of how long it took,
Thank you.
and it just seems real shaky, and I'm very I don't know, like I'm not seeing a conviction coming. I just, unfortunately,
Boy.
you know.
Yeah.
I feel it. That's 100% how I feel. I feel the same exact way. I am. I'm dissatisfied. I'm satisfied that charges were brought up.
Right.
But I know how this thing is played out for us. Give them a bone. Give them a bone. Give them a bone. You know, the looting has subsided, right, and it ceased for a moment, right. And I think ultimately, that's the goal, right, to restore order and humanity again, right? I don't really believe that the ultimate goal is to convict these guys, even though this is not the first, second, third, fourth. This is ongoing, right? And so this is just what we know from the recent years on camera, you know. So this kind of institutionalized, you know, racism, systematic racism, it's not new. So I'll take a breath when we get a conviction. I feel like it's a step in the right direction, but you know, there's a lot of wild cards.
We've been here before.
Right. Plus,
basically.
you know, I don't know if this is true, but you know, they said that they may have done some security jobs together at bars, and they may actually know each other. If that's the case, then I feel like there has to be another push into doing some detective work to see if they had a relationship. Because I want first degree.
So first he was charged with third degree.
Yeah. Now they bumped it up to second.
And it's bumped up to second degree.
Yeah, but it could be first degree if they find a motive, if they find that they had a relationship prior.
So you think that it was premeditated?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they should research their relationship and they should do their job.
Well,
Okay.
I read somewhere that
That's all
No,
I'm saying.
you're right.
That's all I'm saying.
they said that. Well, this is just what I read. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But they said that 8 minutes and 45 seconds they felt like is enough time.
It is.
You had enough
Bro,
time to
how could you not
formulate a decision of I'm not gonna.
Bro,
Stop
does
what
it
I'm
take
doing.
that long to decide that you're killing someone?
You can formulate a premeditative motive to kill somebody within several seconds. 1 second, you can just decide, okay, I'm about to kill this person. So the premeditation is one part of it, and it's very, it's vast. There's different ways that they can form that. But I really like how you guys are all saying, I don't know if it's true, because that's really important to qualify the fact that we're reading a lot of information out there.
Allegedly, yes.
So I appreciate that. I will say, emotionally and rationally, I absolutely want first-degree murder. I started a letter writing campaign for everybody to join. We had people from other countries writing to the DA
Nice.
there
Wow.
to say this is first-degree murder. However, from a legal standpoint, the reason why the DA didn't initially charge first degree is because it is hard as shit to get first degree. But conversely, if this was a black man who killed a white man,
bro.
it wouldn't be a problem at all to get first degree.
Right.
And that's what we're fighting against.
Right. So
Exactly. Because why is it that when a black person gets arrested for anything, they charge the highest possible charge and then work their
Then
way
we'll work our way
down?
down.
But now all of a sudden, it's what's reasonable to charge. Oh,
Right.
really?
Right.
Because all of a sudden that matters?
Right.
Because
Right.
every other
Real.
person who isn't white gets the worst
Well,
charge possible.
that
Right.
shield is really a shield.
It is. It really is.
In real life, like, you know, the shield is really, because you're right, 100%. If it were me on his neck,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't even got to kill him.
You wouldn't
You
even
understand
got
what I'm saying?
a day in court.
I wouldn't have got to get him on the ground and hold him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because Tao would have said, "Hey, he's good." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the other two guys
Son.
on you know, they would have been like, "Yo, let him go."
Right.
That's why I feel like you. Emotionally, I do feel like first degree is absolutely deserved.
Right.
But then I have understanding of what, you know, and they have to find a grounds for premeditation. I could have been in an argument with Chief Focus, and he could leave in his car. I can still be mad, go to his house and shoot him, and they'll charge me first degree. Right? Even though I never knew you, but I had time to plan and go get my pistol or my rifle and go to your house. Right? So that's grounds for first degree murder, right? That can happen in the span of 5 minutes.
Right.
We're talking about damn near 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So theoretically, the way the system is supposed to work is based on the facts given. They wouldn't be able to charge because there wouldn't be evidence of premeditation necessarily. This would be a case of depraved heart, which is that you had reckless disregard for a human life. So that's what third degree is, right?
Right.
But in the course of investigation, if they find out, for example, that they knew each other from the past and this guy had a motive to kill this person, then they would go back and change the charge to first degree.
Right.
But in the course of our history, it's never been that way.
No.
The person's color of skin determines how severe the charge should be.
Right.
And then you get, and then on top of that, you don't even get a conviction.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's all the, excuse my French, fucked upness of the system.
Right.
And how it's not equally.
And maybe I'm
applied.
desensitized to the point where I was upset with the third degree.
Facts.
Right.
I was.
Absolutely.
And then when I saw that they switched the primary prosecutor to Keith Ellison, which is the Attorney General, and I'm way more confident in him than I was with Mike Freeman. So I was happy with that because that was something that the people were asking for, and I just, maybe in my mind, I knew there was no way it was going to be first degree murder.
And this is the thing too. If you overcharge and you have a jury that doesn't agree that the elements were met, then they will acquit.
Yeah.
So we don't want that.
We don't.
at
We
all.
definitely don't want that.
We want.
We don't want to quit.
So that's why we need it to be reasonable.
Right.
We want it to be convictable.
Right.
So that's why they went with second degree.
Right.
And I know that everybody in the country and beyond is really pessimistic about the outcome of this, but we would not have gotten this conviction or charge in the first place if it hadn't been for all of us rallying.
Right.
So we got to keep pushing. We got to keep the same energy
Right.
going.
Give her the money, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, here in Sacramento, we haven't even so much as been able to get tapes within that amount of time.
Right.
Video footage of what's
right,
available.
right.
So this is record time in terms of getting a charge
Right.
and a response. So I think there's momentum there. I also am a realist. I know that these things are super hard to get, but we got to keep that same energy because this is a turning of the tide.
Do you believe that it's a direct response to everybody coming together as a nation and being out protesting and down from the people who are peacefully doing it down to the looters, down to, you think that is a direct response to, because I've never seen it this fast.
I'll tell you this. I think that I've been thinking about this for the last this is the 12th day now of action since the murder. I think that it's a culmination of the people of the world kind of fed up with the shit because of COVID, right? COVID hit all of us, and we are all feeling the same kind of oppression from something that was beyond our control. So the lack of health care is killing us. The fact that the leadership didn't have a contingency plan on how to help their people. So we were all really upset while we're in quarantine, right? And then we seen a series of murders. They're nothing new, but they all happened compounded at the same time during COVID. You know, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and then now this. People are like, you know what? We've had it.
I thought about that because I was trying to think, like, because this time we had said on the last episode, this just feels different. And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, I want to say, we got time today. Like, that's really how it is.
What else are we doing?
We got time.
We don't got to
like,
go to work.
you know?
Right, and that's bad to say because, you know, we were, you know, just as devastated the other times, but I feel like we were dealing with so much oppression on our everyday that it's hard mentally to be fully present.
Well,
and right now,
when you're already fighting behind the 8 ball, most of us are trying to grind every day anyway.
Yes.
So when this, and I'm not saying that it makes a difference because we protest. Photo B and I, you in the streets, right? Every time something happens, we're in the streets. This is what we do. So it's not new to us, right? But this time, I felt like I didn't have a time limit. I didn't have a curfew. I didn't have to wake up to go to work, right? So we spend all our time compounding all of our time and putting it together. And it was just almost perfect timing.
It was almost perfect.
No, it
to
really
the point
was.
where I thought it might have been orchestrated for some sort of, gain on their end to try to, mess with us or bring martial law in or something like that.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? I started thinking crazy, like,
yeah.
Well, you kind of have to start thinking like that.
No, you
I
do.
really did.
But why do you? The simple fact that we have to be here and be defensive minded every single day,
all the
for
time,
everything.
we from every angle. We're
From every
thinking
angle,
about,
like, what
wait,
is this
hold
now?
on,
What is
somebody
it?
trying to get us.
Yeah. Is this a trick? Are they trying to get us in the street so that they can bring a martial law?
That's how we felt. That's how it felt because
it does feel like
his initial immediately he's like National Guard.
Right.
And then he's like military.
I'm telling you,
and then he's like
that
military.
is some bitch ass
Bro,
shit.
when do you sick the army on the citizens?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I don't want to get ahead of the horse.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
All right,
and
let's
I'm sorry. We got photo.
I told you.
We got photo B
Oh, we didn't
behind the
get photo B.
camera.
Hey.
Photo B behind
I
the
got
camera.
that from him
Hey,
So before we get through the interview, I want to get your take. Are you satisfied with the charges and the arrest of the 4 officers? Because at first, and you guys have to remember, only one was charged at first.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the people were like, well, what about the other 3? So are you satisfied with the charges?
I'm definitely not satisfied. The reason why I'm not satisfied is because if there was no video, it would have never gotten this far.
For sure.
Because
insane.
I'm not tripping off the charge because I know it's going to happen again.
Oh, it
What
definitely.
we need, what needs to change is actual repercussions
Yes.
to police departments overall.
Yes.
Right.
If there's one bad cop, everybody takes the blame.
So you're talking about
Man.
accountability, sir?
Absolutely.
No,
You're
it's
talking about
because
the-
the way the law is, an agent of an employer is therefore the employer is liable for the
Responsible,
acts
yep.
of all agents.
That's
So
true.
therefore, how does that not apply in this case,
Because
right?
the shield
Absolutely.
is a shield.
But they got the blue shield.
The shield is a shield.
And they got their union.
Bro,
Yes.
and then
And
the
they got
media,
their
the
money.
media
And the money.
propagandizes this thing so
All right.
Oh,
The word
yes.
came
so
back.
That's a whole nother
much.
topic.
This guy and this word. All
Right,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Propagandarized.
Right?
It
So
does.
let's
Oh,
proper-
yeah, that's the word.
Let's
That's
propagandarise
his
into
word.
this interview.
Propaganda.
Propagandarize.
They do.
I'm going to use that
They
one.
do. Hey, okay, look, just real quick before we leave. This topic.
Uh-huh.
I showed you guys the clip of all the segments of the media, right? And did you guys remember how it ran together? And
Yep.
every single clip on there, it was what, 30 clips? And they all said the exact same
Same
thing.
thing.
They
for
report
30
off
different-
each other. I
Man,
mean,
look,
I mean,
it's like one person up there. Put this on the
Type of
yeah,
teleprompter.
conglomerates.
You know what I'm saying?
They're owned by the same
So
big
I'm telling you,
company.
that's
companies, yeah.
propagandization, like I said.
Pro-
bro.
now it's propagandization.
It is
Yeah.
what
We're
it
going
is.
further now.
I'm gonna go for this propagandization of no, I can't do that.
You had it. We believe you.
I just had a push.
But it is though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way, bro. The shield is a shield. One more thing. There's
a lot
No,
here.
I hate to say this.
Yeah.
I hate to say this too, but I think really what really pushed this over the edge was when we started seeing police brutality towards white people. Because the media never shows the death
Yeah,
of a white
the
man by the
frontliners,
police,
I
right?
would-
especially here in
They
Sacramento
never
this
do.
past
I have to
week.
disagree with that.
What? No. I'm not saying that they don't get killed by the police. They don't go viral like our deaths.
I don't
go.
think that pushed it over the edge.
What?
I think what pushed it over the edge was
No. I think that pushed over the edge for the white people and other people to get
No,
involved.
I think that George Floyd video, because sometimes when you see a video, it's like, oh, well, maybe this or maybe that or maybe he was
You're
doing
saying the
something.
severity
resist-
of the blatant
Yes.
racism in the act.
Yes,
is what pushed it
because
over.
with the Ahmaud
I
Arbery
will say-
video, it was what? Oh, he must
he
have did
was
something.
stealing.
Well,
He
that
was
wasn't a
doing it,
government
yeah.
act. That's why. Those are
Exactly.
some
Right.
Yeah,
savants that were
Right.
chasing him down.
And
They were
that's
not.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
But
That's
I
a good
think the
point.
fact that this is a uniformed officer,
Yes.
who clearly, blatantly in broad daylight, in front of cameras,
Yes.
mind you, doing some shit like that.
Bro, it's
People, I had
crazy.
white Republican friends that said, you know, if they don't get arrested, I will march in the streets
There you go.
because of how ridiculous.
I'm telling you what,
outrageous.
man. I've seen the emergence of so many different races. All of a sudden, they want to share their police experiences. I've never seen so many white people get beat up, pushed down, knocked down, kicked over, run over.
They were
by-
shot like dogs last weekend.
Man, for the first
For the
time on
first time,
cameras.
yeah.
For the first time, and that'll spark a new
I
type
think
of
definitely
outrage.
adds to it. I definitely think it adds to it.
Especially when
Yeah.
it came to the cop driving through the crowd.
Oh
Bro,
yeah,
in
yeah.
New York?
That was
Yep.
yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Then
how
them
do
pushing
you-
the old man.
The old man, you know.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we can
Okay.
talk.
We'll
We're
get there
getting
later.
so-
My
we
bad.
getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
See, now you want
But
me
look,
to go
but
outside.
look, you
but this is-
unleashed.
But this is sad because we can have a whole 3-hour episode just on that topic alone.
Oh, I know.
So
Yeah, we could.
And
Got a
man,
lot to get through.
we have a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Okay, so to segue into the interview, Miss Liz,
Yes.
got to make
Bring
sure
it
that
back,
we,
bring
you
it
know.
back.
All right. Bring it back.
All right. So for all the people that are listening,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you've done a lot of interviews as of lately, can you
Mm-hmm.
please explain what it is that you do and why is it important?
Okay, so I do wear many hats. So are you talking about in my capacity of
Probably with the protest. I would say probably just
okay.
in with this particular topic
Okay.
that we're talking about.
So, I am the president of National Lawyers Guild, but we consider ourselves a leaderless organization, which means that everybody is a leader,
Okay.
and we all play very important roles. My role is usually to facilitate how we respond to political, disputes. So we sponsor bills, we lobby for bills. We are always on the side of social justice, which is simply human rights over property interests. That's simple. It's so simple.
Say that again, please.
Human rights over property interests.
I wanted to just
it's just as simple as that.
I wanted her to say it because for the people who hate looters.
You know what I mean? and I want to address that too. It's like people are coming for me because I spelled America with 3 Ks. Like, you want to come for me about a spelling? You're not offended by the fact that Breonna Taylor's officers, the ones that killed her, are still roaming free,
walking around?
and every other officers that are roaming free? That's what's offensive. Don't get offended by spelling or curse words. That's not offensive.
No, it's offensive to them because there's a divide. They can't feel it. If it doesn't, most people, if it doesn't affect them directly, then it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this over and over again. If anything about what we say about racism offends you, you are racist, or you are enabling racism.
Facts.
I am not apologizing for anything about pointing fingers at our country about what we're doing wrong.
Facts.
And if that offends you, you're part of the problem.
I'm waiting till she's
Period.
done.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's it.
Facts.
And it should be like that with everybody.
Everybody.
So do not defend this shit. It's like a relationship with a narcissistic sociopath.
Yo, facts.
You're gaslighting the shit out of all of us when we're telling you what's wrong with you.
This is why I post the way I post.
Yeah.
Everybody has a responsibility.
Yep.
There are some peaceful protesters. There's some intellectuals. There's some lawyers. There's some attorneys. There's some killers. There's some lovers. There's some fighters. There's some looters. Yo, we all want the same thing.
Yeah,
we're all on the same page.
And it's not that hard. Racism is wrong. Period.
Facts. And
why
how
are
you
we
gonna
defending
tell me?
it?
How you gonna tell me how to act when you keep killing us?
Yeah, and not only that, not only is racism wrong, but it's killing us.
Facts.
It's not even just wrong; it's killing people.
Where did she come from?
Well, I
I'm just saying. Yeah,
Acid.
I mean that's it.
No, it is.
How did I not know you yet?
Well, you know me now.
Now we know each other. Yes.
And so, back to answering the simple question: we're out there to monitor police brutality. Period.
Policing the police.
Policing the police.
Yes.
And they hate us for it, but listen, somebody's got to do it.
How do I sign up?
Man.
So
we're recruiting.
yes, and please,
I'm
we're gonna give all the information in the comments.
Yeah.
And in the description, all of that to link to some solutions.
Yeah.
So while you've been out there and you've been policing the police, what have you seen with your own 2 eyes? Because according to the media, it's rioters, it's looters, we're destroying everything, we're animals. So what have you seen? Because there's been a lot of conflicting information, and I think it's important to get accounts from the people that are actually on the ground.
I want to say thank you very much for that very important question. So I moved to Sacramento in 2006 from the Bay Area, fresh out of jail. I'll get into that later. I came here to go to school. I was wronged by the system. I'll just say it real quick. I was busted with a little amount of pot, less than an eighth. I had a scale, so they got me for felony sales, intent to sell.
Yikes.
So I was sentenced 9 months and served 6 of those 9 months. And I was 19 at the time. I was in art school, second year in art school at Academy of Art, had a whole future ahead of me, and then I came out as a felon. So as you can imagine, my life was completely changed after that. I was treated like a felon. I was not given a job like a felon. I had to defend my honor and my integrity, and so I got a little taste of what y'all go through.
Wow.
Okay? So after that, I said, I need to know my rights. I don't know any of my rights. And then I realized everybody needs to know their rights, for crying out loud. That's how they're getting us out here. And that's what made me want to go to law school. So for the next 12 years, I dedicated myself to not only finishing school, then going to law school, then learning about my rights, but advocating for people's rights.
Nice.
And so I ended up in Sacramento to work here, and then the Capitol is here, so that's what motivated me. And so when I started working at the Capitol and started doing this activist work, I'm going to make it short in terms of answering your question.
Sure.
Nothing has ever been this bad in the streets, but there has been repeated actions of the government, city council, not caring about fixing this problem earlier on when it wasn't as bad.
Yes.
We've had so many people upset, but peacefully protesting, never looting. Not once have we ever had looting like this in our city, ever. Okay, this is unprecedented. We've done everything the way they wanted us to do it.
Facts.
We've gone to city council. We've
Facts.
gone and given public comment. We've come in there. We've tried to vote. We've opposed all of it, all the legal ways, the right ways that they wanted us to do it. And you know what? They were still mad at us.
Yes.
They were trying to pass ordinances to ban us from city council because they didn't want to hear us talk. They didn't want to hear us swear or cuss or be loud. Like, oh, really? So we fought them on every one of those fronts. And now all of a sudden, because now we're looting, it's a problem. We've been told you for years.
Come on now.
That we're going to burn this shit down if you do it. If you keep going the way you're going.
Listen,
So
burn it down.
10 years. I've been
Burn
in
it
the city
down.
for
Wow.
over 10 years, and we've been doing it the way they wanted us to do it. And guess
Right.
what? Nothing changed.
Nothing.
changed.
Nothing.
Nothing changed.
Wow.
So now you're mad?
Yeah.
Now you're mad? No, you deserve a little looting and then some.
It's crazy. It's crazy to hear people be emotional now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, where's the emotion
I
now?
wrote one of my Facebook posts that I wrote was, I can't believe you're mad at looters when you're sitting behind your computer, you're not doing anything,
Yeah.
you're not in the streets, you're not protesting, you're not walking. I haven't seen you out
But
there.
you know,
what I'm saying?
the twist of the looting, though, I want to say is they're not even us. That's
No,
the fucked up
facts.
thing.
Not us.
Is
Facts.
the looters are the kids that are just running around looking at an opportunity to just
Exactly.
act out. Us protesters are doing what we always been doing.
But would the
Or-
looters have
You
an
know,
opportunity if
peacefully.
would the looters have an opportunity to
Yeah,
loot if
yeah.
the police did their job and we didn't have to
And
be
you know
out
what?
there protesting?
And that's the other thing. The looters, I was out there on the ground on Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
The looters were looting for 20 blocks. The officers, we had Yolo County Sheriff, we had Davis PD, we had Sac PD, we had every PD out there, and they wanted to stand off with us peaceful protesters, while the looters were looting around for 20 blocks for over 2 hours doing their thing. It's like, why don't you go do your job
now they don't
and
want
go
the
get
police.
them?
But you're watching
Now
us.
they
Yeah,
don't
but
want
you're
the
watching
police.
us and shooting us like dogs. Like
And we're peaceful.
Yeah,
You know,
that's-
it's I
this is
made
all
I
kinds
made a
of
statement,
twisted.
man. I said if this is the response we get, and
Yeah.
and it's just teenagers. Imagine if the OGs and the big dogs start getting
You know what
fed
I
up.
mean?
Imagine if the
Well,
imagine if
We
they
don't even
start-
have weapons out there. Imagine
Bro,
if somebody
imagine.
started bearing arms and really started kicking
You know what I
stuff
mean?
off. You know what I
Really
mean?
gone.
Things got to
Yeah.
change. This
And let's call it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that are allegedly, but there's some things that are videotaped. There are white people out there looting
Oh,
and
yeah.
damaging
What?
and
Provocateurs.
spraying
Y'all know about
BLM
provocateurs?
on it. But then we were saying, and when I say we, I mean the people, we're telling them stop doing this because we're going to get blamed for it.
Facts.
And when the police are mad and they want to, want to revenge or want to get back at us, they're going to put it out on us,
Facts.
not
Right.
on you.
Facts.
So you came down just to take a couple pictures, spray paint, break a couple things, and you can
What
go
was-
back to
what
your
was-
They're
nice
taking
home.
advantage
What were we
of the moment, and then they're blaming it on the protesters because they're like, well, if you guys weren't protesting, they wouldn't have the opportunity. But I don't care.
No,
We're not going to stop
no.
our message
That's
because
not our job.
It's
That's
not-
your
that's the
job.
police
Your
job.
Your
Come on.
job
Your
is
job.
to stop the looters.
See,
Yes.
That's
see,
not our job.
that's
What are
pretty
you
much-
Well, and you have the National Guard, you have all these other resources,
Bro,
so it's
you-
not like that
you-
you can't do
all
it.
these people.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
You know, I'm telling you, they had all the officers from all surrounding areas, and guess what? They all had their badge numbers and IDs. Our SAC PD did not. That's a violation of a penal code.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do tonight without
Yo,
your badge numbers?
I heard they
visible?
were hired.
I mean, that's-
I don't know how true this
that's-
is,
yeah.
but we saw a video that I shared with that they had hired guns out there for looting. They had hired guns.
They had hired provocateurs.
Yes.
We have credible sources telling us that they are going around acting like medics, acting like they're going to render aid when they're really not on our side. So to me, you have eyes on the ground. You have 20 blocks of people looting,
Right.
and all of a sudden you meet us at J and 21st and you shoot us like dogs, and the looters are long gone.
Well,
Right.
and I want to speak to that, and then we're going to go on to the next question. The thing that I don't understand, and I think it's a very important point, that we do not accept these police officers kneeling and marching
Facts.
with us.
Yeah,
Because the
it's
thing that I don't understand is you're saying that, hey, we're with you, we're marching with you, et cetera, but there's been credible sources, and there have been video, and there have been pictures of undercover cops,
Yep.
infiltrators within the protesters.
Yep.
So for one thing, you're saying we're with you, but then you're sending in Trojan horses to make sure that
Yep.
you're
Yeah,
keeping the
Trojan
peace.
horse
Or,
is key.
yeah.
Yeah, we
No,
gotta
it
call it out
is.
for what it is.
It is.
That's
So
real.
no more gimmicks, no more gestures.
No.
We don't want
We
any
don't
more
want it.
gestures.
No.
We are
We don't
so
want it.
beyond that right now.
This shit could
Period.
get
We need
worse.
changed policies.
It could get
changed
worse.
policies.
Yes.
Nothing less.
No
This is-
kneeling. We don't
this-
need you
yeah.
to kneel.
This
Yeah.
is exactly what blows my mind is when people are upset. But this is exactly what America was built on.
Right.
Syphilis blankets.
Yep.
Right. Christopher Columbus coming, killing the Indians,
Yep.
taking their looting, pillaging, raping, burning. This is what America is built on. bro.
Yeah.
You cannot. This. If this
Before-
is the
listen,
Boston Tea parties.
Before they had America, they were slaving themselves.
Come on, let's
White
go.
indentured servants. You know what I
Let's
mean?
go.
They,
Yeah.
Let's
they,
go.
that's
That's
just
real.
all they know.
This is exactly what it's built on. So if you're not game enough to fight on the level that they understand, then you're not game enough to get the change that you deserve.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
It's
that's
true.
really what it comes down to at the end of the day. You have to fight America like America likes to fight.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
it. That's what they
Yeah.
understand. They understand violence. They understand death. They understand burning. Let's not even talk about the stuff that they took from us. You know?
That's a
Yeah.
whole nother podcast.
a whole
A whole nother
episode.
episode, excuse me.
Don't get me fired up.
I could tell.
I got my Nat Turner shirt on today. So Liz, can you speak to the importance of the internet and having independent media outlets like Black Zebra Productions? And because if it wasn't for smartphones or the internet, we would not be here with the evidence that we have. So can you speak? Because I know a lot of people have been following Black Zebra Productions and seeing exactly what is going on.
I want to say this. So the number one way for us to overcome the problem we have with propaganda in this country is who funds us, right? So we're a grassroots all the way. We refuse money from people that have an interest in changing our narrative. So in order to be completely independent with how we want to tell this story, we cannot owe or pledge to anybody who does not have our interest in mind.
We refuse to be propagandized.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
So
Come on, man.
grassroots
Don't do it.
Period.
all the way.
All the way.
So that's how we stay afloat, you know, and that's why we're up against conglomerates with a lot of money, but we believe that in the end, truth will prevail, and people will see the truth and know it's the truth, because people are realizing now more than ever that we are being lied to, and that's why we're on the ground to expose the truth, and that's why podcasts like y'all are doing such an amazing thing, because you're talking about truth that isn't going to be, you know, tainted or censored. So
or bot. We ain't being bot.
Yeah, we're not for sale. We are not for sale. Yeah.
I gotta give him one of those. Reverb Experiment would not be bought. And that, you know, that's one of the conversations that we had when we started.
Bro,
that
the
we
very
said,
first conversation that we had when we decided.
We said that, and for Photo B, please hop in. That we said we're not taking any ad money or sponsorship money if you are not a partner. If you are a partner that aligns with our goals and our vision, then we'll sit down and talk about it. But a lot of these people start podcasts because they want to make money. We wanted to make change, and if you make money along the way, hey, by all means. But if we don't make a dime, I'm cool with that, because the bottom line is we don't have enough independent media outlets to be able to speak from our perspective.
So what you're saying is everything is propagandized. I'm telling you,
everything,
bro. The whole
sponsors, all that.
Everything, bro.
But in order for us to be able to sustain ourselves, we have to support each other. And that's how we're going to get through this. You know, and that's why we got to get the truth out there. And that's the new cycle, the new business plan that we have to create, is to support each other, get us through. You know, we don't need a lot. We just need to get through, but get the truth out there.
And stay together.
And stay together.
That's
real.
That's bars.
Ooh,
That is absolutely the first conversation we had. We were on the phone 4 hours.
Man, I'm so proud of y'all for having that. That's so important.
Yeah.
That's the key right now.
You gotta have goals. You gotta have a vision.
I was walking through Kohl's, returning whatever. You remember?
Yeah, I do. You were returning that light.
The light. Yeah, I was walking through Kohl's, bro.
How's my battery over there? If it's, I should say, you know what? You guys got a sneak preview. Just catch the rest on the podcast.
Catch the rest on the
so
pod.
can I get my phone so I could just say catch y'all on the? Somebody just give it to me.
What is wrong?
Photo BJ's cool. He got it.
What is wrong with
Thanks
y'all?
for tuning in, y'all.
And they about to miss a good question.
Popping, huh?
So,
comments and stuff. Okay.
I've been stalking your Facebook page. I ain't gonna lie.
I know all of them are.
So,
yeah.
I'm
gonna take you back to March of 2018.
Okay.
So March of 2018.
Man. That's the day.
Yeah.
That's my brother's birthday, actually. So it hits me, and I'll never forget it. Yeah.
Okay, so you know where I'm going with this question.
Oh, yeah, I do know.
So March of 2018, Stefan Clark was murdered by the Sacramento police.
Yes.
A week later, Stefan Tay Clark appeared on CNN with Don Lennon.
Right.
So talk to me about his growth. Because I think we were, and when I say we, I mean the general public, we were very critical of him.
Of course.
Even though we cannot relate to the grief that he was going through at that time.
Right.
And now in 2020, when we're leading George Floyd protests, I see him leading, and I see him speaking out, and I see him uniting the people. So talk to me about his growth between 2018 and 2020 and the importance on why we cannot just cancel somebody.
Yeah, I want to say this. I will say, first of all, Stefan Tay has become a completely different person, but at the same time, he was always this person.
Thank you.
Okay, you don't just go from somebody who isn't doesn't have what he has, and then all of a sudden have it. You always have it.
Right.
And that's what I want everyone to realize is that we all have it. We just have to tap into it. And if you just never had it, he wouldn't even be who he is today.
Right.
Okay? And so he was clearly grieving and hurt. And Stefan wasn't the only brother he lost to gun violence. So he's had a lot of trauma even before this even happened. And so when I first met young Stefan Tay, you know, he was an upcoming rapper, really, you know, just unfocused, but had a lot of passion. But I didn't even know what his potential was until these last several years where I got to know him on a personal level. And to have the guidance that he's been given has really developed him as a leader. I have a shirt that I didn't wear it today, but it says, you know, Tupac and Malcolm, and it had all the icons, right? And I said, I need your name to be on the shirt with them. And he was like, that's real, Liz. And he lives up to that today. And I think that it takes a person to not just have good guidance, but like I said, he has to have it in him. And he realized this is a platform, not just a platform, but an opportunity to make his brother's name a legacy.
Yes.
What is that legacy that you want?
Yes.
You know, is it anger? Is it hurt? Or is it true leadership to prevent this from ever happening again? And he took that, he owns it, and he asked me, he's like, do you know what it's like to be famous because your brother was killed?
Wow.
I don't even know who can
Well,
even answer that question.
that's the thing though, man. Like, again, I just asked the same question. How do you tell someone how to respond?
And there's a lot of complexities there that I don't think any adult at any age could really be prepared to deal with, because you're constantly being accused of wanting the spotlight or, you know, monetizing on or capitalizing on your trauma and your hurt. And that's a lot for any human to even process. He is so young.
And so I didn't like there are, in 2018, right, you know, a lot of people said there were antics or whatever. But like I said, how do you tell someone how to deal with grief? Now, if people cared that much, then there's a way to say, hey, then we can get some coaching, but you're not going to have someone contain their emotions.
And it's easy to judge and criticize. So can we just love? Can we just?
I feel like a lot of that is rooted in, especially I know with
culture.
No, just with Black people, just how we care about how we're viewed by the oppressor. And it makes no sense because people are always like, oh, you're making us look bad. You're fitting into what they think about us. They gonna think that anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna think that. They're gonna say that about.
Why are we worried about that?
Yep.
Like, who cares about what other people are thinking?
It's the same thing with this looting thing. You care about what we look like.
Exactly.
But it's not us.
No one cared about.
You're caring about what you're losing,
rather than
instead of what we're losing.
You care about what we look like more than you care about the lives that we're losing. Trash.
What's more important?
Trash.
Stop living under the lens and the judgment of the oppressor. Stop trying to, because there's nothing that you could do. You know what I mean? And you see it when people say, oh, you know, like if something happens to somebody and they say, well, he was a professor, he had a good job, he did this, he paid. What does that matter? Like, I feel like they're trying to build this person up to make, well, white people, you should care about this person. Because, no. Like, why are you worried about
I'm gonna tell you what,
how they view you?
We all have pretty great careers, right? And if my Black ass is walking on the sidewalk and there's a white family, bro, and a white woman, she's crossing the street.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how well we do or how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're in a nice neighborhood right now. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good you. When I bought my house, my neighbor asked me, did I buy it or did I lease it? That's
See, as
that's
if that's even their
stuff.
business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, that's
but,
even your
but
business.
So it doesn't, you know, even though I was purchasing, right? To her, I still wasn't qualified because I'm a young Black man to be able to afford. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. It doesn't matter how well you do.
We are judging each other
based on how they feel.
That's crazy.
It's years of, like Tamika Mallory for Women's March. This is generations of mental illness that they've inflicted on us. That mental illness is real.
Trauma.
It's fucking us all up, all of us.
I know. I know. I got mental illness.
We all got mental. We're all traumatized by the oppression. All of us are oppressed.
Well, and we were talking to on our call yesterday. Photo B was on the phone with his grandmother, right?
Facts.
And you want to talk about that conversation, and then we're going to end up getting back to the next question. But I think that's an important point because you're talking about generations. She just said generations. We just heard a generational conversation about what's going on in this country. So
right, and pretty much I have nothing. I mean, my whole take on it was we definitely want change. We've been fighting for change, and there has been change, but we still aren't getting the change that we want, being as though there has been new things that are coming up.
Right.
You know, we are actually viewing things a lot more. We are hearing about things a lot more. So it gets a lot more people involved.
Yeah.
Now, being as though we're all seeing it, and a lot more people are getting angry about it because we are now seeing it. So the more people that we have collectively, we will hope that more change happens faster.
Facts.
And we know that it's not going to happen anytime soon, but we
Oh
hope
no,
that it's
No, it's
oh no,
happening
it's
right
happening
now.
today.
It's happening right.
It's happening now.
This is
but I
history,
understand what
bro.
you're saying.
I'm honestly afraid that I almost came to the conclusion that it's not going to get where we want it to get, ever.
Well, that's
Well,
why we're doing the podcast.
He's also desensitized in a lot of
That's-
aspects.
yeah.
no,
Yeah, I
hey,
don't blame
he's entitled to his opinion.
No, but
No,
that's
he
what he
is.
said. He said it. He said.
So
Remember,
can we break that down? Like, so where do we need to get to when you say that? What do you mean by that?
We needed to get to the point where how I was talking about before when it comes to things not just have to be on camera for convictions to happen.
Yeah.
It needs to happen just because it fucking happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
If
yeah.
somebody did something wrong, they need to be held accountable for
Facts.
what they did.
That's true.
That's
100%.
So
I don't need it.
you live in the reality of it is what it's been, and
And it will
you're not
never
expecting
get to that.
super change right now because of history repeating itself in the continual cycle of systemic racism.
Absolutely.
I got
Until they stop putting the blame on
came
specific
ready.
cops and make it in the entire idea of
The
how
entire
cops
system.
are, the entire system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just at the police level.
Yeah.
It needs to go higher than that. It needs to go to upper ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to have the IA in there a lot more. We need like more people involved in making shit happen. Instead of it having to get to us, we get mad and it's like, shit, they're pissed off. We got to do something now before they get too mad.
Yep,
Like
that's
they need to
basically
like,
what
all
it
right,
is.
this is wrong. It's wrong. We need to handle this before
Right.
it gets too bad.
So you only feel like you feel like a lot of us. You feel like I said a little bit earlier, is that we're only here now because of the ensuing events after.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And the video.
Absolutely.
What
I
if,
agree.
So what if I told you that we completely defund law enforcement? Then what happens? Do you think that you would be a little bit more hopeful in things changing? Say we took out the whole entity of law enforcement, period, and we just replaced it with something else, like restorative counseling or, crime after the fact, which means that, once a crime happens, then we leave it to the courts to determine who gets convicted, charged and convicted of things, but just take out the law enforcement out of it. Would that look different to you?
That would definitely look different, but I'm not saying that would be the best idea just because.
Of rampant crime and things
You
like
want
that.
somebody
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
be an enforcer of some
Right,
sort.
I want to be able to trust the cops.
Yeah, just be
100%.
accountable.
That's
Yeah.
all I
Be
ask for. I
accountable.
want,
Win.
No, I just want to be able to trust them.
Win.
100%.
Not
When?
even
Like
trust
they-
them, but just know that they're going to be held accountable.
Held accountable.
Absolutely.
So this is what. So now I know
Trust
that
is
I'm
a hell of a
National
word
Lawyers
for
Guild,
hell of a word.
policing the police, but from a policy perspective, I work at DOJ and I'm a professor, so I think about, okay, if we were to recreate this, what would it look like?
Right.
Because that's what I really want to encourage people to do and talk about and really discuss, because we do need a plan,
Right.
and we need to know what that might look like, and we need to push for those things just to try it out at the very least, because what we're doing now isn't working
It's
very
not
well.
working.
So we need an alternative. So we can't just say, well, this sucks, this is not going to work, and it's just going to always be like
Exactly.
this. We do need to think about, okay, so if we remove this from there, then what happens?
Right.
And if we replace that with this, then what happens?
Right.
So we gotta try. you know
We
what I
have
mean?
to be extremely specific on what it
Right.
is that we want, because that's one of the things. And we were talking in our group chat that we listened to the Breakfast Club interview with Charlemagne and Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of talking over each other.
Yeah.
And all I kept hearing was
They
white
went
supremacy,
together?
white supremacy, yes. All they kept
I
saying
gotta
was white
see that.
supremacy, white supremacy,
what?
white
It was
supremacy.
I would not have taken on Rush Limbaugh. That guy, he just talks and does not stop.
Well, and if you're going to have him on your show,
Yeah.
you should be extremely prepared
Yeah.
to come up with solutions,
Yeah.
because we're past talking about the problem.
Right, yes.
I'm past talking about
Me-
the problem.
yep.
Come on.
What's the solution? And
Yep.
my thing of it is like what Photo B was playing. There needs to be accountability.
Facts.
And let's finish and then
Okay.
we're gonna get through the solution, because I think we're getting it, man. I'm telling you, this interview and this just topic could really be like
It could be its own
like
show.
a 10-part series or something.
Well,
just
that's
on
why I
top of
have
it.
my podcast. It's all about this and only this.
The Organized Voices.
Yeah, it's only about social justice.
When is that dropping?
Next Sunday. 6 to 8 p.m.
I'll be there.
And y'all can be on there with me. That's all we're going to be talking about. Every Sunday for 2 hours, that's all we're going to be talking about is social justice.
Hold on.
shit.
So you said that we can be on the pod?
Of course.
What?
She's on camera.
Yep.
And
No, I
she's
might
on
as well
record.
do it here with y'all. Got the setup already.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely. So definitely check out Organized Voices. It's dropping next Sunday
at
from
6.
6 to 8.
Yep.
And where can we find it? YouTube, Spotify?
Rapstation.com on YouTube. I have a website, organizedvoices.media.
Okay.
And my IG is going to have it too.
And we will have all those links in the description.
Yeah.
Yes.
To get to the interview. So we're talking about solutions. We're talking about finding an answer. So obviously the people that are most influential in that are activists, right?
Yeah.
Activists and social injustice warriors.
Yep.
So you already answered my other question earlier, so I'm going to skip it.
She got
Alright.
bars, bro.
Yeah,
I was
bars,
just looking
yeah.
at the notes.
Many people are not aware of the sacrifices that many activists and community leaders have to make while fighting this fight.
Mm-hmm.
What has been the most costly sacrifice that you have made, and was it worth it?
Damn, I'm going to be real with you guys. I feel like I've sacrificed a normal life, a conventional life. Like, I don't date. I don't have any plans for marriage or kids for
Wow.
this fight. I can't do this with that, because I take parenting and being a mother and all that very seriously, and I can't do that and this at the same time.
Wow.
I have to be able to get called out to do this work, and I can't have little babies waiting for me to get home, that being on my mind while I'm out there. I need to be able to be ready to go get arrested, and I hate to be melodramatic, but I have to be ready to die for this shit.
Facts.
And I can't do it with a family at home.
Mm.
And so I didn't realize that I had made that decision, and it's been made more and more clear to me in the last year. I am not able to have a relationship or a family for this work.
Wow.
And is it worth it? Absolutely.
Man,
Somebody has to
crazy.
do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, we feel like that about our regular careers.
Right.
Right.
Photo B and I. Like hustle.
I mean, how can we? And that's what I'm saying.
It's
It's like,
hard.
so I've my
It's hard
my
to balance
Instagram name is
relationships,
literally Busy Lizzie, right? And it was a running joke for years, right? And then this year when 2020 came, I was like, I'm gonna make it still Busy Lizzie to be funny, right?
Right.
But it's actually not funny because it's like, wow, I'm really,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because when I was in a relationship 2 years ago, I was like, it was on and off and it was rough and there were other problems with it. But mainly my whole thing when I looked at myself was, I'm not ready or able to give to this relationship the way that it deserves. And I'm like, I have to look at myself and take accountability for that.
So when men approach you and ask you, hey, can we go on a date? Can we do this? Whatever. Is it just a flat out no? Like, hey,
No, I have to admit, it's always been, when I have time, I'll get to you. And it's always been like, damn, you're so stuck up, or you're just so busy, you don't have time. And I hear that constantly, right? And I'm like, I should probably stop committing to things I can't commit to.
got it.
A proper date for her would be a protest.
I'd be like, meet me on the
If you wanna-
Capitol
yeah.
steps.
Period. If you really real.
Yeah.
If you
If you're
really
trying
real.
to-
Yeah.
If you're trying to
I'ma
date
see
still
you out
busy
there.
Lizzie,
Yeah,
meet me at the Capitol.
So
Hey, that's real.
so
Yeah.
before all of this, protest and chill, huh? So before all of this,
Yeah.
That's pretty
did
good.
you have plans on having a family and
Of course.
getting
I
married?
mean,
And
I don't know that I've ever really was like crazy about having children, but I do know that if I ever did have one, that it wouldn't be an accident, that it would be consciously, a decision that I take very serious. I wanted my kid to be, a good kid, educated, know to not be racist and treat everybody with respect and equality and all that. Like I really wanted like the right time and the right person and all of that.
the foundation, yeah.
But then, and then just time kept going and I'm immersed in this work and it's like, I can't really even go there because I'm just so immersed in this work. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Wow,
deep.
that's deep.
That's
Man,
deep. So
yeah.
you sacrifice a lot.
I mean,
And this
Everything.
Is, this
Everything.
Is,
Everything.
This is why I
Everything.
get offended when people are like, when they have a stance against what's going on and they do
From the
nothing.
internet.
and that's why I get
How
offended when
dare
someone
you?
tells me how to spell America. It's like, really,
How
bro?
dare you?
Well,
Right.
or
Yeah.
How
when
dare
we
you?
hear people question.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we've had
It's
people,
like, do you know?
like he's had people question him.
Yep.
Like when we said you were going to be on the show, I've had
Yep.
people like,
Yep.
question me.
Facts.
I think Photo B has had some people question him, and it's like,
Yeah.
Hey, you ruffle some feathers. You got that. People are scared of you. That's
Yeah.
all I
I
gotta
mean,
say.
Yeah.
I mean,
They know better.
But again, we're not here to appease other people's perceptions.
No,
It's
because
we're doing the work.
how are you gonna get this much real if we're like here's some show notes and here you can't say this and you can't say that.
we're just all the way
Right?
real.
You know, you can't. You can't. And I want to hear the real perspective of someone who's really out there every day. And this This is the sum total. Like this is almost like the sum total of all your life's work coming to a head where you can really impact it all at one time.
Right.
And I see it as an honor.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't pass it up,
That's
because
dope.
I feel like everything in life has a reason.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Hey, give her the applause
and
button.
no, I really appreciate that. You know.
I forgot which button it is.
I'm looking like where the applause at.
Hey,
That's the controversial button. There we go.
So proud.
So
X-Files music.
speaking
Right.
of Netflix,
Netflix.
speaking of protest and chill.
Yeah.
If I were to go to a protest, these are for the listeners. Give us some tips. Give us some do's and some don'ts.
So protest
Man,
etiquette.
okay, so there's two kinds of protesters. Well, there's several kinds of protesters, but it comes down to two. Either you're there for the right reason or the wrong reason, period. Because if you're there to really further this movement, it's not about glorifying or sensationalizing. It's not about that. So
Taking
come with a
pictures.
little humility and a lot of just respect, okay? Because there's ways to disrespect the movement, and it really hurts us. That's it. That's it. So that's number one. And then two, your safety is very important. So please be wise. Don't come out there in shorts and a t-shirt running around going, la, 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 fuck the police, and then you throw water bottles at the crowd, and then you run like a little pansy, and then the rest of us are getting tear gas. Like, bro, stop that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. When
Those
it
are
comes
the people I want to enforce.
Exactly. It's like, I want to rat those little kids out. It's like, you're fucking it up for all of us.
Yeah.
And we're the ones getting tear gas. So I think it just goes back to having some respect, because we're fighting a real fight. This is a real fight out here.
Yeah.
And if you are brave enough to want to stand off with the police, then come prepared.
Yeah.
Because if you don't and you're running off, then the rest of us who have to stand ground are getting, are paying the consequences.
Yeah, getting shot at, getting tear gas.
And that's what I saw.
Rubber
and that's what I
bullets,
continue to
getting
see.
rubber bullets and foreheads and stuff, man. I can't believe.
They're aiming for our face, you
Well,
guys.
and there's people there's a few
Deliberately.
people that have already lost their eyes to that
Yeah.
because they got shot in the face.
Surgeries all this week.
Like the guy in Texas, the man in Texas, and then there was a
Lost
young
his
lady
eye.
that lost his eye too.
Yep.
Lost her eye, excuse me.
Yep.
Was one of those out here? The young lady got shot in the forehead.
No,
There
it
was a
was
young
a
boy that
young
got
boy.
shot.
There's
Here,
a young boy.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
actually
13,
two
huh?
boys and a woman here.
Yeah.
In Sacramento, and we had one of our National Lawyers Guild legal observers get shot in the face.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
guy that you're with,
Danny
right?
Garza,
Yeah,
yeah.
Danny. Yeah, he got shot
And
too.
he's, a former military veteran. He's out there legal observing. We're supposed to be exempt. Congress has deemed us to be exempt from protests, so we're not participants. We're there to observe.
Right.
And for them to enforce a dispersal order, clearly telling us multiple times to get on the sidewalk, and then they shoot us in the head on the sidewalk, is some shit.
Right, and to be clear, you guys are neutral. You guys are
are.
just there to just
Police
make
the
sure
police.
that
And they know who you are. You
They
guys-
know who
Right,
you guys-
that's
yeah,
why
you have the
bright
green hats on.
hats
Yeah,
on
right.
that
exactly.
say clearly legal observers. Plus, we've been around for 83 years. You can't miss us.
yeah. And you guys are just there to make sure that people's constitutional rights are
Our-
not being infringed on.
Our fight is in the courtrooms. Okay,
Yeah.
that's where we fight them. On the streets, we're not there to fight them. We're there to observe them.
Right.
So for them to shoot us is a blatant sign of fuck you to us.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's not like you said. It's not like your name's not on a list of do not touch. You know what
I mean,
And-
that's what I'm saying.
and-
And so it's a disorganization of their own organization, because top down will deny all day that they allowed that. So it's men on the ground that are doing that, and they're just not able to
Man,
control
we've,
it or
we've
take
seen the
responsibility
videos.
for it.
We've seen footage. We've
Yeah,
seen
I mean,
video.
you know what
you,
happens.
You can't.
Crazy.
It's we're at the point right now where there's no denial. There's no
Yeah,
excuse.
there is no
The
excuse.
The only excuse is you hate black people. That's
don't
it.
care.
And
That's
anybody
it.
who supports or defends them.
Yeah,
At-
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How much more do you need to see? Burn this bitch down.
With that being
With
said,
that being said,
now that we have the world's attention,
with
what
that,
is next? How can we help? What are some good organizations to donate to or to connect with?
Oh man. First and foremost, really push the narrative of the truth. because all of us are so brainwashed that to me is the most heartbreaking thing when I talk to a young kid, you know, like coming out of high school and they don't know what to believe because they're watching too much TV or watching the movies or what have you. They're married to their products and their capitalistic, you know, businesses that they support. And so and they look at athletes that are like sponsored by Burger King and shit. You know what I mean? So they're not really like they don't know what.
By Burger King?
Hey, LeBron James took a sponsorship from Burger King and it broke my heart. I was like, come on, LeBron.
I didn't know Burger King sponsored
This was
anybody.
earlier in his day. But when he first did that, I was like really in protest about that. I was like, come on, man. Kids are looking up to you, man.
Yeah.
Burger King, though. Anyways, so things
They got
just
that plant-based Whopper now.
yeah, push the narrative, you know, and stay informed. Know to read between the lines when you're watching the news. Do your research. I always say intellectual humility, knowing that you don't know it all. So go and learn for yourself what the truth is. You know, that's key.
You said read between the lines when you're watching the news.
Yeah, know to question
Don't be
the shit that's
propagandized.
exactly.
Don't be propagandized.
Yeah, that's key. And it really all starts with ourselves. You know, everyone is so quick to be like, well, you're wrong because of this. No, how about you're wrong because just look at ourselves. Like, that's what I always say. It's just internalize. Just look
That's
at.
what we talk about. We talk a lot about.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of talks on this podcast about trauma.
Right.
Because you have to know thyself.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
What
Well,
are your biases and how are they formed?
Right.
And-
You know, childhood. How you
And what's funny is that the conservative talking points are usually we don't want to be held accountable for what we do.
Right.
Right.
It's like
Right.
you guys
You wanna
always
blame
blaming other
someone
people.
else.
Yeah.
We never say that.
Yeah.
Both can be true.
Mm-hmm.
We can hold ourselves accountable for what we are responsible for.
But
there are also factors that lead to behaviors, that lead to
Exactly.
conditions, that lead to where we're at as a people. So both can be true,
Yeah.
and it's always black or white, one or the other. I know you're about to say something. Go ahead, Steph.
No, I was gonna say you can't talk about the disaster of the end result and not talk about the perfect storm that led
Hey,
up to that. Like
come
you
on,
can't
man.
Right.
paint the whole
You're on
picture.
fire.
The
Right.
whole picture, not
Yeah.
just a piece of it.
Yeah.
There's things that lead up to these final.
Right. And-
Historically, black our history starts at slavery. Right?
Right.
That's what we know.
Well, that's what we were-
And-
that's what we were taught.
That's what we were taught in
Yes,
America.
that's what we were
right?
taught.
Yeah.
There is a history beyond slavery, right? So, like you said, we don't know the whole narrative, but we do know Willie Lynch. We do know slavery. We do know 400 and some odd years of being
Oppression,
beaten and
yeah.
oppression. And then we do know that when you're free, you're not really free. We know they're still lynching us. They're shooting us, right?
Yeah.
This is what we know. So how you when you address why we are the way we are, you have to go back and observe the actions that caused us to be that way.
I'll go as far as
The
to say,
institution.
I'll go as far as to take one step further and go out with this, right? With this, the problem here. Police aren't even the root of the problem. The police are a byproduct of the problem
Right.
because they were created to be pitted against the people, right? So they don't even know how fucked up they are and how they are a result of a system that is rooted in evil, right? And they can't even admit that. And that's even sadder for them because we know what the problem is. They don't
Right.
even know what the problem is.
Right.
Well, some of us don't, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah, and that's why we
Yes.
gotta keep talking
And
and discuss this.
so what?
Yep.
So what are some
So-
good organizations?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of people that got a lot of energy,
Yep.
but don't know where to put it. So
Yeah.
and there's a lot of money being thrown around. So where can we donate? Where can we connect with? Where
Yeah,
can we?
there's an anti-police terrorist project here in Sacramento.
Okay.
So that's a local one that you want to support. There's another one, Anti-Recidivism Coalition. If you want to attack this problem, you know, in a real significant way, the way that they're enslaving us is through the prison systems, criminalization. So decarcerate is a huge organization. Cut 50 is a huge organization. We have to do something about our criminal justice system. That's
Yes.
like top 2 and our top 3 of our national issues.
Yes.
So decriminalizing, decarcerating,
Yes.
getting our brothers and sisters out of the criminal system is the one big way to set our people free.
It's getting us out of the criminal system is one way, but then what about felonies that remain? What about misdemeanors? So is there a way?
I'm pushing. So this is the thing, right? I'm a felon, right? I'm a former felon. I had it expunged in 2011, and here I am still. I've been hired as chief counsel at the state bar and was fired within a week because of my background.
Wow.
That was just last year.
Wow.
You know, and now I'm at DOJ, and so it's like these different entities looking at me differently because of the little F on my record, right? Some
right.
bullshit, right?
Right.
As a
So-
child,
Yeah,
19 years
exactly.
old,
19
as a
years old.
kid.
I'm a whole different person at that
Right.
time. So my
Right.
thing is, why is it that credit reports will drop shit off in 7 years, but our expunge shit stays forever, right? So that's a policy change. We need people in the legislature. We need people changing laws.
Well, that's the game, though.
Yeah,
like you said,
that's
right?
what I'm saying.
That's the game.
Yeah.
You incarcerate, you disable,
Yep.
right? And then you pass
And then
it
you're
on
marked
to the next,
forever.
and you pass it on to the next generation.
Yep.
Not even just
Incarcerate,
mark, but you
disable.
also probation.
Probation.
For years and years.
So you're really
You
talking
can't own a
about-
firearm
no,
forever.
you're talking
I'm a
about the
woman
whole
living by
system.
myself, and I can't own a gun during a pandemic when somebody could just come and rob me, and I don't have any way of protecting
Because
myself.
come on, bro.
Come
But
on.
so what you're talking about again? You're still talking about that cycle. This is stuff that we talk about on our podcast
Yeah.
all the time. We're talking about the cycle of this is what systematic racism is.
Yeah.
You put them in jail.
Yeah.
Get them early, 14, 15 years old. Try them as an adult.
Yep.
You disable their ability to make money.
Yep.
You take away the ability for them to establish credit.
Yep.
And they can't own anything
Yep.
because they don't have money and they don't have
And that's
credit.
how they own
They
it.
have children. They
Yep.
put you on child support.
Yep.
Rip you to shreds.
And they want you to buy $600 Jordans.
right. Right.
Go into debt to buy some products
Come
so that
on,
you can
man.
look like you're balling, but you're
Come
really
on.
not balling. You'll
Yo,
never be balling.
Man, don't even get me
Yeah,
started.
yeah.
on
Well,
Jordan.
and then
Yeah.
when you do
Bars, though.
and then when you do gain knowledge,
I know. I'm
This dude
with
is
you.
so, don't get. He's
I'm
so
with you.
late.
and
bro.
then and then when you do gain the knowledge, then you can't vote, right? Because
Right.
if you have a
Because
felony,
you're
then
you've already
you
had a
can't vote.
felony.
So, so I will say this. Organizations are great. It's just one step, but I'm telling everybody to be informed, get educated as much as you can, and get in the positions of power in our governments. That's really how we affect change. And because I don't want to say, oh, just go vote. It's not that simple.
No.
We need to vote with candidates that are for us,
look like
and
us and
we
talk
need
like
needs to
us.
be us in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
voting. It needs to be us running. So run for office.
How many times?
Oh,
how many
let's go.
times? How many times
Yeah.
have we had the conversation that it starts with? I have to do this because I always talk about this. We need to take these youngsters and we need to guide them through the legal system, the education system, the legal system, high school, college. We need to take them to law school because
Yep.
we have to plant our people in these positions like they plant their people in those positions.
Well,
So-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so one of my hats is I manage campaigns. Anybody who wants to run for office, I will not charge to run your campaign.
Whew.
If you are wanting to run for office and represent our people, I will manage your whole entire campaign and get you,
Bars.
walkers, all that for free. I will not
Bars.
charge because this is about the movement. That's movement work. I never take money for movement work, period.
BJ, you gonna run?
We need somebody running for
Why was
office.
I literally just thinking about it? And no.
Okay.
No.
I got a record. I can't run.
You got a record?
I
It
got
doesn't
a record.
I know you
matter.
got a
Run.
record too.
Whoa.
It don't matter.
I do
We
have
gonna
a
talk about
record.
this later.
Yeah,
I didn't
we'll
know
talk about
that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it later.
Wow.
Don't let your record stop you. Look at Trump.
I don't know enough.
Come on
Excuse
now.
me,
Well,
all
let's
rules are out
go.
the window.
Go, bring the bell.
All
Bring the
bets are
bell.
off.
Bring
All bets
it.
are off. You know what I
Bring
mean?
it.
Don't let your fake record
Hey.
keep
All right.
you.
Bro,
Come
you
on
did
now.
that when you were 18.
We gonna talk.
Okay.
It wasn't 18.
Oh.
We gonna talk. We gonna talk a little later.
I'm done.
All right, so we got
Right.
some good organizations.
Yep.
They will be in the descriptions, so that way we can link them up.
Yep.
I think this is an important conversation. I know
Absolutely.
for me, I'm always trying to educate myself, and I
Good.
think we have to understand what the core. And I think this is what you were talking about. And
Yep.
this is what you were talking about. And Steph's been talking about it too. We have to talk about the core of what racism is.
Right, and how
Right.
that-
So
that
before
bleeds.
yes, so before we get to the internet wins today, we want to absolutely thank Miss Liz for coming in and giving us just all this
Whoop-de-whoop,
insight,
whoop.
Knowledge.
Bars.
knowledge, the bars,
Thank
the.
Bars.
Thanks for
This
having
is
me.
all great conversation, and we're gonna keep it rocking. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go into our next segment.
Man, she got me all fired up.
I know,
I didn't want
right?
to go to the
We're
next
ready to
segment, bro.
No, actually, no, we're not gonna talk about the next segment because we're gonna stick about talking about solutions and change,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's
Oh yeah,
So I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
was gonna talk about from some of the things that I've seen
Oh, she put
the
out her
campaign.
notes.
You know,
Yeah,
I
notes.
had
I'm ready. Yeah.
I have seen the campaign Zero. They dropped the 8 Can't Wait, and it was 8 policies that can reduce police violence by at least 72%. And so the 8 things that they said were banning chokeholds and strangleholds, requiring a warning before shooting, the duty to intervene, require use of force continuum, also require de-escalation, require them to exhaust all alternatives before shooting, ban shooting at moving vehicles, and require comprehensive reporting. Now, also on their website, they have every city listed, and you could look up your city, and it'll show which one of those policies
Yeah.
your police department already has in place. And Sacramento already has 3 in place, but they also give you information to contact your mayor to get those policies passed. And it shows the policies. Like, you could read the actual verbiage of the policy on the website.
I have a question.
So, what?
I'm glad you politely raised
Why the fuck is this not taught in goddamn police
Already in place?
fucking training?
Right.
Why do we need to tell you 8 things that's common fucking sense in dealing with human fucking beings?
Right.
That's
What
very well put.
The fuck?
That's well
And you
put.
know, honestly, when I was looking at the things, I
Are
was
you
thinking the same
serious?
thing. I was thinking, oh, I'm sure that, all of this is already, no.
You don't have de-escalation
So
training?
hold on. I'm glad you said that. I
What
was
the
looking for it.
fuck?
Right.
So check this out. Everybody listening, everybody paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
So check this out. So I actually have a list of the states that have de-escalation policies in place.
Okay.
It's not very many. It's about 16 states. Alabama,
Oh, God.
no de-escalation training required.
Of course.
Alaska, no de-escalation training
Why would
required.
they?
Arizona, no de-escalation
Can-
training required.
Can I just add real quick? De-escalation is so counterintuitive too because their de-escalation means things like putting people in chokeholds.
Right.
You
Yes.
see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because that's
That's exactly what it
de-escalating the
means.
situation by de-escalating the risk to them.
So what
Yes.
they're doing is they're
That's
subduing.
twisted
They're
as hell.
subduing. They're
Yeah.
subduing the.
So putting somebody in a chokehold on the ground and then
Is- yes.
This
that's
is what
de-escalation
happens.
to them.
This is what happens when you give regular people who are scared as fuck of doing their goddamn job. This is what happens.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that we have, in California, do we have de-escalation training that's required by the police?
No.
We actually do.
I was about to say, I
But look.
Doesn't seem
does
like
it-
it.
look,
No,
does
wait,
it
so
work?
look, I'm going to tell you. So it's very funny that we talk about this a lot, that lawyers have to go to school for what, at least 8 to 10 years?
Yeah.
So California de-escalation training requires 2 hours every 2 years.
Two.
Wow.
What? That's like my security
Yo,
internet training.
You can't even
Like,
go to the military if
you
you
can't.
if you don't pass a
That's
psych evaluation,
crazy.
right? And you might go to war. Okay, you may go to war. You're in the streets every fucking day. Dog, my fucking mind is blown.
So
I
the-
don't understand why
So
we.
this is another way we could tackle
Oh
this,
my
right?
God.
So police officers straight out of high school can go to the academy,
Yep.
and that's all it takes.
Yep.
What we are thinking about doing, and we've been talking about this for a few years now, is licensing them and raising their pay, but requiring more training. I'm not talking about training like little field training. I'm talking about schooling.
Schooling.
Like actual
To a
school,
social injustice
To
class.
social injustice classes,
Yes.
sociology classes,
Yes.
and all of these classes to get them up to par on what they need to know as just even a regular citizen.
And have them
Period.
recertify.
Yeah, and to be licensed. Because why is it that bail agents, insurance agents, any other profession has to be licensed
realtor,
by the
a
state?
lawyer,
Yeah,
a
but
loan
not an
officer?
officer.
And you
And they
have
carry.
to renew.
You have to pay
Right.
all the time.
Recertify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bar is too low in how officers can
Oh,
become an
definitely.
officer. So that needs
Yeah.
to be raised.
The
for sure.
interview is. Do you hate black people? Yes.
Yeah, you
You're
gotta have
hired.
a racism
And then
test.
if you're a black
Yeah.
person, they're like, "Do you mind if we kill black people?"
Yeah.
Well, you know
I
what?
prefer
And,
not
and
to.
it's not, but
That's
it,
a
and it's not,
question.
and it's not just black people.
No.
Yeah.
They have brutalized white people. They brutalized Asians, Mexicans.
It's
everything.
almost like gang
We're-
initiation, dog.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
understand what you're saying.
one of the things was duty to intervene, which they do have in Minneapolis. But the duty to intervene is on the other officers. That if you see somebody using excessive force
Towards an
that
officer.
you're
Yeah.
that they're supposed to stop their
Well,
colleagues,
yeah.
and we did not.
no.
see
Yeah, we
that
didn't see
happen.
that
Duty
all.
to intervene probably to them means if she's an officer, I'm beating her ass. And you're an officer, you need to stop me.
Right.
That's the only
Right.
intervening
Not the-
they
not
got.
Yeah, not the
Not
other
the
way. Like,
other
let's
way
jump
around.
in
But
and start
I
going ham on
mean,
these people.
Hey,
And I literally,
hey.
when I read that, I looked up. I'm like, do they have that in me? Oh, they
Bro,
did
all
have
it
that.
took was
So
this.
the
All it
other
took was-
officers.
Even if you have it, it's
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
it.
work.
All
Yeah.
it took.
That's all
All
it
it took
took.
was this is
Yeah.
enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
No, for real. There was a
all it
protest.
took.
There was that happened in a protest where
What?
not too long afterwards, where somebody had their knee on somebody's neck. Somebody in the crowd was yelling, "Get your knee off the neck." He kept on yelling it. The officer who was with him moved his knee
Right.
to his back.
That's what
simple.
you're supposed to do.
That fast.
Yeah, that's all.
It was
listen,
that quick, that
listen,
easy.
but what
How
about the-
about someone can't breathe? I mean, it should have just
What
been
about the
that
conversation
simple.
though we had about policing police behind doors, right? What about if Tao tells him to move and then he gets in trouble and Tao's
do.
not? Imagine how the police treat him when he gets back to the
Oh,
station.
yeah.
I saw
that's the
somewhere
issue,
where
right?
where
That's
it was a
another
black
issue.
woman
It's
that
still a
got fired.
psychological issue, right?
She got fired.
Right,
she
because
she intervened and she got fired,
Right.
lost her
So-
pension and all
so-
that for obstruction. It was obstruction.
It's
But mind
yeah.
you, he was on the ground, handcuffed, but it was obstruction because she stopped him
Right.
from
So
beating him up on the ground.
then
Yeah.
this goes into a deeper question.
Right.
The psyche of a police officer in fearing other police officers.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the culture. It's just like the culture when you go to the hood. Don't snitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't snitch. You handle it yourself.
Dog, you're a
Right?
police officer. Your job is to snitch.
No.
You arrest
Hold
people.
on. See? And you
Snitching
jumping
is your
ahead
job.
of me. I said it's similar culture.
Yeah.
It's just like on the football team. If one of your players or one of your teammates does something off the field that you know will get him suspended, don't say nothing because we need him to play.
Again, this is police officers.
It's the
this
culture.
Is not football.
I'm not
This
talking
is
No,
I'm
but I'm
not
saying these
comparing
are the
it.
people
I'm not
that
comparing
those
it.
are the
It
people
shouldn't
that
be
are
the same.
supposed
It
to have
should
your
not
back.
be the same.
No.
Not even remotely
At all.
close.
It shouldn't be the
You
same.
put your hand on the Bible. You take an oath to protect and serve the civilians.
Do you think that we're saying that that's how it should be?
It should be that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, but it's the
It ain't.
culture.
No, but
and
it
I'm saying
shouldn't
you
be,
can't.
bro. I understand what you're saying. I understand
Okay,
what you're
hold
saying.
on.
It is the culture.
So what-
it shouldn't
it
be.
should-
What I'm,
be.
okay, but what I'm saying is, so in the culture of something, a policy will not change the culture of it. What I'm saying is, on a football team, they all know if they do X, Y, and Z, they could be suspended, right?
Right.
But if that one player does it, the player that's on the team will not say anything because of a policy.
Listen,
I'm
bro.
saying that
And
the
that's
You're,
why-
culture.
Policy
you're
ain't gonna
comparing
stop it.
watermelons to bananas.
No,
I
I'm
think
not.
He said the policy isn't going to stop it. It's going to take more than a
It's gonna,
policy.
I think that the best way, and this is just my humble opinion, is just a third-party oversight committee.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the only way that they can ever be properly policed, because they can't police themselves. Come on.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that
I
we're
understand what you're,
expecting-
I'm understanding what you're saying, but
Yeah.
when what I'm saying is you take an oath, and you're talking about breaking a policy so you can't play in a football game so we can win. Okay, we're talking about killing people and
Yeah,
hiding it and
but
sweeping
you're
it
right.
under the rug.
But it's the
Theoretically,
culture.
the fact
the
they
culture.
should be calling. Let me tell you this: lawyers, we police the shit out of ourselves. We disbar people all the time,
Yo,
and we have
facts.
a duty to report a lawyer who is malpracticing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Same with
and
us.
And it should be like that.
Same with us.
It
Look,
should be, yeah.
Same
It
with
should
us.
be.
I'm just saying I can't trust a cop to police another cop
You
because
can't-
it's the culture,
Well,
and
what
it's
did
not,
he say?
and it's not
What did
because
LB
of a.
say?
What?
He said the same thing. I don't trust the cops.
So that's what I'm saying.
What?
I'm saying that even if policies are put in place, you're still leaving it up to a
Them.
person's character
Yeah.
to then
To
police,
follow.
and I can't trust that. I need,
Yeah.
just like you said,
Yeah, and-
there should be the police
need a
should not be
steward.
investigating the police.
Yeah.
People
It should be a
circumvent
third
policies all the
party,
time.
Yeah.
person investigating
Why?
them.
They're
So
just
if
gonna
something,
buy them out too.
well,
That's what I'm saying.
that's why
It
you
goes back
defund.
to, do
But that's
not
why you
take
defund.
Exactly. No, the donating thing is a real big problem. That's what I'm saying. It really trace the money, follow the money to lead to corruption.
Yep.
Yes.
That's it. Because they're just
Money
gonna,
is the root
they're just
of all
gonna
evil.
defund them too.
Yeah.
Because
And
look at the autopsy people, right? Those
Oh,
are
yeah. Who
third party
pays
people.
them?
Why do we get so many different autopsies? He had COVID-19. He had prior health conditions.
Well, that's why I always get another one.
Right.
Always
Bro,
get a second
we
opinion.
watched
second,
you
third
kill
opinion.
this man.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why I'm
you're
saying
gonna
that a
tell me
policy,
that that's not what happened?
and that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying that a policy in place may not save what we're saying. And
You
I
know,
get
what,
what
you
you're
know what
saying.
changes stuff? Rioting and looting. That's what they seem to respond to.
Or you just fire and hold accountable the people that you know that are
That
not
too.
doing the thing.
That
If
too.
there's
So-
that's the thing. If there's no consequences, that's gonna make the difference between am I gonna follow this or not? Because if you know that there's gonna be a consequence, you're gonna be like, okay.
But this is why he went through with the whole 8 minutes and 46 seconds,
'Cause
right?
he didn't believe that there would be
knew
any-
he wasn't
He didn't think
gonna
there
get-
was any
He knew it
consequences.
was.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
thought
That's
he
why
was
that
gonna
needs to
get-
change.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
ASAP.
So we're talking about accountability. There was another organization that
yes,
you were talking
I
about
saw.
as well.
So
Man, she
there
got me fired
was.
up again. He's comparing football to police.
No, I'm comparing the culture.
I understand what you're comparing.
No,
It's
and
not
you're missing
same.
the point.
No, I completely understand.
So then why are you still bringing it
I'm
up?
still upset because it shouldn't be the same. It shouldn't be the same at all. The culture, I understand, is the culture.
Okay, so let's talk about the culture.
You
Let's not
should
talk
take-
about the act.
No,
Let's
I
talk
get
about the
it.
culture.
I understand the culture, but as a police officer, right? And if you swear to protect
There's a
lives,
different
there's a
standard.
different standard. I understand that it's the same. Exactly what I'm saying. There's a different standard, bro. There's a different
Or it
standard.
should be a different
It should be.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
it-
agree. But how many times have we seen? So where did
We
the
need to
police
go be
start?
the police.
Those-
How do
so
I
the-
sign up?
So where did the police start?
Where the police start?
What's the origins of the police?
Slave patrol.
Slave patrol, bro.
So you're asking fruit from a
rotten ass tree.
From a rotten tree to police themselves and to have culture to then say, oh, hey, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
You would expect, we would expect things that have changed.
That's why.
You know, from where we have been, you expect things to change policy-wise.
Why?
That's
So hold on.
I don't expect things
Why
to
do
change.
we expect things to change?
We don't.
No, I'm saying we should. Like,
No.
like I'm saying, like, all I'm saying
Why
is,
should
like,
we?
Bro,
we
no,
we dying.
You got to know your personnel, dog.
No,
if
no,
you're
no.
a center if we're playing basketball and we're bringing up the ball, I'm not giving you the ball. You're the center.
Why
Go
should
underneath
we
the
expect
basket.
things to change?
We don't.
So if 2 + 2 is always equals 4, why would we think that we would get a different result from 2 + 2?
Exactly.
Look at this guy, man. He
But
came
that's
to
why
play.
we need to uproot. That's why we need to take this whole root out.
Yes.
Take the root out.
Which talks about
Oh,
accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Bars.
So we have all of these companies that are coming out with their PR statements saying that they're in support of the movement. And they're going to give so-and-so amount of money. But there was one black woman from Uoma Beauty, and she basically called them out and was saying that if you have released a PR statement, that you need to provide receipts that you are not a part of the problem. So how many...
We need receipts.
Right, receipts. How many black employees do you have at a corporate level and in positions of leadership? And they were calling for people to not shop with them until people provided those numbers. And the numbers started trickling in. And this is in the beauty community. So I would want to see this on other companies, Reebok and everybody else that's coming to speak out. Like, but you got 0% black people in positions of power, but you're saying that you're
Fire.
equal opportunity.
Fire. Get them.
You're just following the trend of the hashtag.
Listen.
That's true.
Listen, the most effective thing you can do if you are a corporation that does not have anybody black working for you is post Black Lives Matter on your storefront. That is the most because what you're doing is it's the same thing, right? You're throwing us a bone. Here you go. We care about you, but we don't really care about you.
No, but what they need to be doing is donating a lot of money.
Facts.
Give us the money. If you can't stand with us or march with us, give us your money then.
You know what? And I have an issue with the money being thrown around.
I was gonna say that
because
Michael Jordan, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, no, and it's not an issue with the money. We would take the money. We'll take the money.
Yeah.
But where is the money going?
Yes.
And is it going into the correct hands? And then just like we're saying with accountability, what are the people that are getting the money doing with the money? So what I would like to have seen is a reparation fund, put in a reparation fund, and have people that are holding that reparation fund accountable to then go towards either black businesses or to go directly to the people. And I know you are way more connected, so I'm sure you know that there are policies in place to make sure that they're spending the money correct. But we've seen a lot of nonprofit organizations mishandle money.
What?
Red Cross is one of them.
Oh, no. When I say, let me clarify. When I say that they need to be donating, I'm not talking about give it to those big, nonprofit orgs that we can't trust. I'm talking about put it into the streets, the people in the trenches. That's the surefire way to show that you're in solidarity is people on the ground. That's why we're taking these donations to gear people up, get their gas masks, their bulletproof vests, people that can stand against the police. They're putting their lives on the line. This is literally war. If you want to put your money where your mouth is and you really want to support us, we're not talking about help us with these big foundations. We're talking about all the people on the ground.
The streets,
That's where the money needs to be going.
Because I saw some people saying, we're going to give this amount of money to the Boys and Girls Club. We're going to give this amount of money.
And we'll never see a dollar from that, ever.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
and that's what I'm saying.
Well, we talked about yesterday, right, with how LeBron James did the school. He built a whole culture, right? Be it as it may, he may or may not own the school or the facility itself.
Yeah.
But the culture that he's created and the environment that he's created, those funds you can see them in changing the lives, right? Yes. And helping kids get from elementary to middle school to high school to college, right? And then showing them, giving them skills, including things like coding and all the, the technology,
Tangible
right?
skills.
Don't give us we need money to be on the front lines, but we need money to go into these educational facilities.
That's what I'm saying. Learn, training. So then another thing, training. So I do mentorship programs where I teach people how to do resumes and apply to jobs and interview.
Nice.
Because that's how you really elevate our people, right?
Right.
Is to be able to be gainfully employed.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
really the key.
Well,
so
that goes
don't
back to
just
system-
throw money at
let's
us.
go to the
Give us the
system.
money,
Yeah.
but also train us so that we can be highly functioning and gainfully employed, know how to pay our taxes, and make sure we know how to own things under our name
Understand
and fix
credit,
our credit,
understand,
know
yep.
financial
Yep.
literacy,
Yep.
all that. That's how we elevate
But those
our
are
people.
the things that are purposefully neglected in the lower
Yes. Yeah, they
income
want
areas,
to keep
right?
us not knowing that.
When did you learn about credit, right? As
Man,
an
I had to learn that on
adult,
my own.
When you
After I
jacked up
fucked it all
when
up
you jacked
first.
up your credit,
Yeah, I
right?
had to go
And you had to
fix
go
it.
fix it.
That's
Exactly.
how I learned about
Mine
it.
was jacked up before I
You know what I mean?
started.
But that's how. But how can you therefore implement something into your life that you don't know about? And it goes back to what we talked about earlier with decriminalization, right? You
Yeah.
have and incarceration, because once they get you there, none of this other shit matters.
I'm gonna
right?
tell you,
have
I just want to
take-
drop one thing of game, right? If anybody out there has kids, get your kids a credit card right now with you as a co-signer so that by the time they turn 18, they already have bomb-ass credit. Like, they just need to learn that from a young age so that when you're 18, you already have credit established and explain the importance of that.
Yeah, you can trade line them. You can even trade line
Yeah.
your kids. Again,
Nice.
you guys know me.
You know?
Or
I
employ
talk-
them.
Yeah.
I talk
Start a
about-
business.
I talk
Yeah.
about
Employ
that
them.
money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
things
piggyback
like-
off of
yeah.
her. If you have kids that are 16, 17 years old,
Yep.
and you have good credit,
Yeah.
put them on your credit.
Yeah,
on your,
so they can
make
build
them
it.
authorized user. Don't
Yep.
even give them a card. But
Yeah.
that credit history transfers to
Yeah.
their social security
Yep.
number.
Yep.
Just make sure that they know how to handle
They
money.
don't need
so
a
that way
credit
a good
card.
credit card or good
Doesn't
credit
get
score
fucked up.
will only just allow them to borrow more money
And
and
become-
then they'll
get in
end up
debt.
in
Yeah,
more
you're
debt.
taking a risk, but
So yeah,
Yeah.
but no, but
Yeah.
you're right. It's
Yeah.
just, but that's along with the education.
Yeah.
And I think as a community, that's the one thing that we have not addressed.
Right.
And I'm saying that we haven't
You-
addressed
you
it
know-
I was
on
about to say,
on a bigger scale. What
Yes.
what I'm saying is that, and it's mainly because we don't have a culture. So like
I
so like
said
when
that yesterday.
with
Oh my
like
God.
Indians, and this is just with the small circle that I've had conversations with, right? So when they raise their children, some of them, and I'm not saying all because I can't speak for everybody, will tell them, hey, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer, because those trades will help our community, right? So because we need lawyers, we need doctors, we need dentists, we need this, we need this, we need that. Those are skills you can bring back to your community, right? So I don't think we have grown up because our parents or our generations have always told us, oh, hey, because we were slaves, now you have the freedom, be whatever it is you want to be. And then we go to school and get these trades or get these knowledges that we cannot bring back to our community. Hey, go to school for business. Okay, what specifically in business? What are you going to do with your business degree?
Right.
Are you going to bring that business degree back to the community?
Right, that's what we're
Or are you going to go to a 500 Fortune company
Right.
that you're the only African American on the board and you're not
Yeah.
bringing any of that back to the community?
I know
So,
how that feels.
hey, no, I need you to be a lawyer because we need you fighting for us in the courtroom.
Right.
And I think
Right.
when some of these successful people are finally make it, then
Yeah.
it's like,
We did
so they forget, either sometimes they forget where they come from, or they feel like that when they do come back, oh, you're too good for us now. We don't want you back. Why
Yeah,
don't
we
you
do
go?
treat-
Whatever,
that's the
whatever.
culture,
So
yeah.
but that's that crab in
It's
the
an
bucket mentality that was
individualism.
created.
Do we?
It's
Yes.
individualism. And that's another thing we have
Do
to
we
change
treat
about
people
the
who
culture.
made it? Do we
Facts.
treat
Yeah.
people who made it bad, or is that just a everywhere thing? Right. The friends that I grew up with, right. We're all still super close because most of us are really successful, right? So it's easy to still be friends with those people, right? The people that I grew up with and I did business with right now, I mean, a lot of them have unfriended me on Facebook or they've blocked me or whatever, right? But you're blocking me because my success is elevated and
Right.
you remain the same.
Right.
But on the other token, I can go to an entirely different group of black people who meet me at this level and they'll accept everything I have to give them.
Right.
So it's not really that we make them feel bad. It's that as a when you make it, you have to own the responsibility of going somewhere where you can be of service to your community.
It might not be with the people you grew up with.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make it a valid excuse that the people I went back to aren't receiving me, because somebody will receive what you have to give. You are obligated to feed back to us when you make $1 million. When the coach that trained you from high school got you to college, and then that coach got you to the NFL, you have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to give back to those people that made you who you are.
And you got to look at, who our heroes are, who we're told to emulate. And it's always, sports, music,
it's always
entertainment. You know what I mean? And that's all well and good. You know what I mean? I'm here for it, but we need other things. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is, people will be like, shop all black or, buy black. And it's like, well, I need something other than some T-shirts and some CDs.
I hate you.
I need gas. I need groceries. Come on.
That's true. That's true. But that's where we need the diversity. But I think the older generations like us, we have to. That's part of our responsibility. That's part of our responsibility to go back and teach, right?
Right.
That's something we got to do. So
and philanthropy, like
something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stressing the importance of that. Y'all are so crazy.
He is over here. He said, I can't eat T-shirts.
We're gonna transition into the internet wins again. We're gonna transition into the internet wins again.
So much truth to that, bro.
We all can't just be entertainers. We need other stuff.
Every black person selling.
And we know everybody ain't good either.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh boy. Facts.
Hey, support your black-owned businesses. We're going to transition into the internet wins today, where we go over the most latest rumors, topics,
I can't wait
subjects.
to get to your trash list.
Oh man, we're gonna get there. So we're gonna do quick reactions.
Okay.
Quick reactions, right?
Wait.
So first topic that comes up is are we all familiar with this shut up and dribble?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lauren Ingram?
Laura Ingram, okay?
Man.
Oh.
And
Just
then
like
so we
Shut
all
Up and Sing.
and we all know that Drew Brees came out and he said that he will never
Respect.
respect the protests that are disrespecting the flag. And then Laura Ingram
Don't be
came
disrespectful.
back. Hey, Laura London's the
better be
queen.
okay.
I will
Yeah,
never
you better-
disrespect
you
Laura
better
London.
not.
Hey,
I'll flip
but
this whole table over.
Laura Ingram came out and she had comments about that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and play a couple clips, and then we're gonna have quick reactions and go around the room. So I'm gonna play Drew Brees' comments first.
Trash Breeze.
Yeah, that's his new name. Trash Breeze.
Trash Breeze.
Trash Brees.
My goodness.
Man, this chai latte was good.
Now at Kaepernick's protests from a few years ago, and obviously they were always about police brutality, and now it's coming back to the fore, and a lot of people expect that we will see players kneeling again if and when the NFL season starts. I'm curious how you think the NFL will and should respond to that, and of course, you're such a leader in the league. What is your responsibility as a leader in times like this for the rest of your teammates and players in the league?
Well, I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about. And in many cases, it brings me to tears, thinking about all that has been sacrificed, not just those in the military, but for that matter,
Okay.
Right. I can't listen.
Listen.
Okay.
No, that's
So hold on.
sacrifice.
Before we get to the reactions.
Right.
So then, Laura Ingram.
Can we react to that first?
Oh no.
by itself, please?
Let's figure it out. Because the topic is, should athletes stick to sports? Okay.
All right.
So
fine.
Should athletes?
should athletes stick to just sports and
Okay.
not speak out?
Absolutely.
So this is Laura Ingram's comments about LeBron James and then about Drew Brees. All right, let's get this queued up.
This dude is trash. Trash Breeze.
I don't even know where to start.
You got a whole team of black athletes.
Right.
I expect to see a lot of sacks this season. Hike the ball, and just take a knee, man. Let them feel it.
Come on now.
Let them feel it, bro. How dare you have black receivers and black running backs and black linemen and black everybody around you, bro? These super athletes.
70%.
These super athletes, bro. These super athletes that you're around all the time. Okay? And you can't see. What about the...
It's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
Well, he's allowed to have his view about what kneeling and the flag means to him. I mean, he's a person. He has some worth, I would imagine. I mean, this is beyond football, though. This is totalitarian conduct. This is Stalinist. And by the way, on the streets of New Orleans, we're looking at live pictures. They're shouting, F Drew Brees.
Fuck Drew Brees. Is what
That's what this moment has done to the beautiful team spirit of the New Orleans Saints.
He's a great Christian man.
Oh my God.
That's the ultimate.
No.
That's the ultimate.
See the
Hey, this is a clip,
see
right?
the white
This is
privilege?
a clip. This is one of the ones, bro.
Wait,
Hold on.
Make sure you
Give
say.
us free.
But you have to make sure you say that on the screen when she was talking about LeBron, it was like jocks on politics.
Yes.
You got to put that part in there.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
We gotta have
I'm
context.
sure he has some worth.
We're gonna go around the room. We're gonna react, and the topic is: should athletes stick to sports? We're gonna start with Steph.
They should do whatever they want to do with their platform, but I would prefer if they do speak out and use their platform for justice, to spread awareness. Like, I feel like that is a responsibility. There's a responsibility that comes with having a platform like that, because it is the people that have gotten you, you know what I mean? We're the ones that are watching these games. We're the ones that are buying the tickets, buying the jerseys and everything. And you have a responsibility, I feel like, to those people to use your platform. And you can't let people like Laura Ingraham, you can't let them silence you.
And then how do you feel about her hypocrisy, where she told LeBron to shut up and dribble, but told Drew Brees that she was...
That's just straight up racism, like blatantly. The
It is
way
so
that you
racist.
described LeBron and KD versus the way you described Drew Brees.
$100 million.
Right. Basically, you're an idiot,
Right.
but you're good at
and shut
sports.
up. Yeah.
But this is a great Christian man that his opinion has worth.
I'm starting to
Come on
wonder
now.
what the word Christian actually means.
That was
Right?
gonna be my first thing.
Just means you're racist.
That was my first thing that I was gonna say, because clearly they don't know what Christianity is.
Man, let's whip out the dictionary real
Is it my
quick.
turn?
Go ahead.
Please.
All right. Drew Brees, you are trash as fuck with your white privileged, over abused. This motherfucker's had money his whole life, right? So he can't see.
Talking
He
about
couldn't see
crying
the other.
stuff.
He couldn't see the other side, right? Of kneeling for the flag, right? He couldn't see it, but nor does he ever care to see it that way. What about my grandpa and my grandpa fighting who were in the war? What about the black people that were fighting in the wars, that were in segregated barracks, who had to use hand-me-down weapons and shields and gear to protect themselves? What about all the black people who fought in the war, Drew Brees? That's what makes this dude so fucking trash. So it's disrespectful to kneel from a group of people who also have heritage in the fucking war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
This is why she said, shut up and just throw a football. That's what she should have said, because this is such an ignorant fucking statement to say my grandfathers were in war, like black people didn't fucking go to war. God damn, bro.
Listen, so the statement he made proved how stupid he is, just fundamentally stupid he is, because okay, so your grandfathers fought in a war, right? What do they fight for? What are you fighting for?
Come on,
What
man.
do they fight for? And so it is not somebody kneeling during the national anthem is not an insult to the country. The fact that racism is happening is an insult to the country.
Facts.
So you can defend this country and still defend against racism.
It's two hypocrisies and a hypocrisy.
Yeah, and so for you to respond like that tells me, A, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Facts.
And your grandfathers wouldn't even support what you said.
Rolling over in their grave.
Rolling over in the grave because they're like, what the hell are you talking about? We fought for honor in this country, and you're not even being honorable for what you're standing for, so don't even speak for me. Okay? And then thirdly, exactly what my new friend here is saying is that, you're talking about everyone else who also sacrificed and continue to sacrifice, and to hell with all of them because it's all about your grandfathers so he's just all convoluted.
They don't know. They don't know because you were brought up they're brought up in a life that just nothing else matters, right? You know how you have your little box of whatever. This is why Laura can say things that she can say. Shut up and dribble.
She's on a conservative television.
Shut up,
she's supposed to say those
Shut
things.
up and dribble, right? But he has opinions. If you mute his voice, her words are, if you mute his voice, that is totalitarianism, right? That's what she said, right? So just again, the propagandization of fucking white supremacy is outrageous.
I need them to start with at least a better PR person. For crying out loud, they don't even have a good PR campaign going.
And then they end with, he's a good Christian man.
Okay, hold on.
Two things. Fuck Drew Brees.
Yep.
Fuck Drew Brees.
Due to the fact that he actually did kneel. He
did.
He kneeled.
He did kneel.
Wow.
With his lying ass. Again, throw him a bone.
Wow. So can't even stick to his own damn guns.
No. Second.
I can't respect a man like that.
In my opinion, if you can look at the flag and be peaceful, that's white privilege.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I don't see the flag the same way they do.
Hang that thing upside down.
Who is this
DJ came through.
bro?
Yeah.
Who are you?
That's
hey,
real.
Tell Joe Budden podcast, Parks ain't got shit on photo. Okay? Kill him, bro.
So, I agree. Drew Brees did kneel.
Wow.
And my question is, when you were kneeling, what were you kneeling for?
Yeah, what were you
So were you just kneeling just for the photo op, or what were you doing?
Because he was in New Orleans.
Now, I will say this, though. I don't think Drew Brees is racist. I just think he's ignorant, and I think he's uninformed. It was a very stupid statement because it's like he doubled down on it. Because he said that before, and then he said it again. And this is with all this stuff going on. So I just think that he's misinformed. And I think if he understood the history between the World War II, and like what Rajeo said, that African Americans fought alongside segregated.
We fought against Hitler.
Right. Nazi
exterminate.
Germany. Right.
So what are you standing for? What do you think your grandfather stood for?
Right. And to me,
so
he's a clown.
The way I look at it is
he's a clown.
When you go to war, you're sacrificing your life, right?
Right.
So both African Americans and white Americans both went with the same sacrifice.
Right.
And they both went fighting for the same thing abroad. But when they came back,
we came
back to a different
we didn't get the
America.
same reality.
So you were fighting for the quote unquote flag,
Yep.
but when you come back home, don't have the same freedom that the same person that sacrificed the same thing I sacrificed came back to.
Right.
Not only that, I didn't get any medals, I didn't get any awards, I didn't get recognition. And to me, if that is the biggest example of hypocrisy ever, that you are fighting across the globe for freedom, and you don't even give freedom to your own citizens.
Come on, bro.
That's really what the problem is with this.
And they have a problem with looting.
Insane.
Bro, because nobody wants to think about everything like we think about it. They don't want to talk about it in 360. They don't want to look at the whole picture.
Paint the whole picture.
They want to look at it in tunnel vision. When they're in war and they're fighting, think about how America treats white veterans. All the veterans you see on the freeway holding signs, and I can't get this, and I can't get this, and I can't this. Bro, how do you think they treated us?
Exactly.
This is how they treat their white veterans, bro.
Yeah.
This is how they treat the people that look like them.
But then they speak about patriotism.
Right, this
about
patriotism.
being American.
I
You got your
always said
veteran.
that.
You don't even give your veterans should automatically be housed. Veterans shouldn't have to
there
pay
should
taxes.
never be no damn homeless veteran.
Never.
Yeah,
You should
ever.
have a home.
Yeah.
You should have a supplemental income. You should have dental. You should have medical. If you pick up a gun and you sacrifice your life for a country, or your life,
you should be set up
and
for life.
Not to
be
mention the family, like you said, the family, the kids, the wife, the dog, bro. All that shit should be taken care of. It should be spoken for.
Yep.
So
they don't care about the vets though. They're using that narrative to silence.
Isn't it
that's all
obvious
they're
that they
trying to
don't
do.
care about the vets?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if y'all cared about vets, they wouldn't be in the state that they're in.
If
y'all really cared.
Yep.
Wasn't Colin Kaepernick instructed by a veteran to take a knee?
Okay, thank you. Let's get into our next topic.
Oh my God.
So next
I
topic,
have you on my show. Like I need him.
the hypocrisy of the NFL.
With this energy.
So we all listened to Roger Goodell's apology?
Yes.
Yes? For the listeners, if you haven't listened, you
Hey
can
man,
listen to it right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my headphones off. I'm tired of these fucking lies. Let me know when it's over.
I will. I gotta wait for this ad to get through.
You should have paid for premium.
Let's see it here. Oh, here it goes.
The jokes don't stop around here. Oh, this is.
You said you was rich.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality. We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League.
I'm sorry.
Cut it off.
I can't. I just can't. What the hell?
That's enough.
Is it over?
I'm sorry.
Is it over?
Believe Black Lives Matter.
No, we're done. We're done. Done with you.
Trash, bro.
You know, you could have did this. How many years ago did Kaepernick start kneeling?
This before Kaepernick.
2016, 17?
It was
4 years ago.
3-4
years ago.
Yeah.
Come on now.
'Cause
Y'all
it's still
knew,
what
y'all
matters,
knew,
yeah.
and this is the thing. You're coming out with this statement of something that you knew then. You just didn't care, and you weren't being pressed to say to care. You know what I mean? Like that makes no sense to me. You didn't care then.
Didn't.
You didn't just all of a sudden just magically figure out. You know what? Hey, there's racism. Hey, we shouldn't promote racism. We should let them. You knew this then. You just didn't want to. It's not genuine. They just saying something because they have to.
Yo, nigga, apologize to Cap.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Apologize to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Apologize to Cap.
Give him his own team.
Period.
God.
Get him his
Damn.
own
Right.
team.
Bro.
Exactly.
What?
We were wrong. That's
Why?
all you
They
did.
need to bring him
all
back
you have
in.
to do to really
No.
apologize is say Colin Kaepernick.
Not as a player, but as just.
Colin
Or don't just
Kaepernick,
say,
I
"We fucked up."
apologize.
We fucked up.
Right.
That's it.
I apologize to you for treating you the way I treated you, and the league, and allowing the league to be racist against you and ostracizing you and giving you a check and a contract so you couldn't say shit and telling him to go the fuck away. This is how Cap fed his family, right? I'm gonna give you money, shut the fuck up, right? Apologize to that man. That's who needs to be apologized to first. You don't give a fuck about none of those people that you just named. You don't care about Taylor. You don't care about Ahmed. You don't care about George. What you care about is your fucking profits.
Yep.
That's what you care about.
Yep.
That shit is so disingenuous.
Thank you.
I can't believe his publicist let that motherfucker put that shit out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Publicist
saying.
probably wrote it and told him.
Oh my God, that's white on white fuckery. What is going on?
And he said everything I needed to say.
Jesus Christ.
No, I really think that people shouldn't even. I just don't even want to hear people talk anymore. Just go and go do the right thing.
do it.
Period.
I don't even want to hear them talk.
You know,
There's
see,
nothing
that's
they
it.
can say to
That's-
make up for
that's-
what they've
Yeah,
done.
but that's the
We don't
yeah,
want
that-
any more statements.
Yeah,
we
let's
want
do it.
action.
Yeah,
Look,
just go make it right.
Look how.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so look.
Period.
On a deeper question.
Hold on,
do
hold
they
on,
know
hold on,
they're doing the
hold on.
wrong thing?
Hold on.
Yes.
Thank you. They do. They know.
NFL hypocrisy.
Fuck.
They already know. They should have been known.
Come on, bro.
Matters.
They
know they've been wrong.
They knew they was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Bro, fuck that dude. That's all I gotta say, bro.
Well, so let's put things in perspective. Is it Roger Goodell or is it the owners?
I don't give a shit who it is.
No, but we do need to know.
They need
because
to be responsible because I'll be damned.
the owners. So Roger Goodell works for the owners.
Of
The
course.
owners do not work for Roger Goodell. So we need to
Okay.
be that very clear. And
Okay.
all
But
32
you know
teams.
what?
Oh no, there's. Go ahead.
I just want to say somebody who works for the owners should have some say in what they all need to be putting out as a statement. So you're the mouthpiece, you're the spokesperson.
That's true.
Don't come out there and say whatever it is
Bro,
that is.
he set
from
himself
you?
up as
Yeah.
a human shield for the rest of those 32
Yeah,
people,
no.
bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scapegoat.
No, I
you
know,
know
and
what?
I'm just saying that there
And
needs to be
just like-
accountability across the board.
Just like Kaepernick took a stand against the shit, he
Yeah.
needs to be taking a stand against the shit.
Man.
Get out of here. I don't care about those excuses.
Look, who each of those owners wrote a little piece of that fucking bullshit. They put it together and they're like, go say it.
So as
I
a
know,
people,
right?
so as a
That's
people,
what it is, all part
so
of that
again,
little
so we're
pie.
bringing it back down to solutions. So as a people, so what are we gonna do?
Well, the more important question
I
was
boycotted watching
wasn't
sports.
wasn't one of the questions something, I don't know if it was a question, but we had a conversation about, is it the players' responsibility more
We talked
or
about
is it
that.
the
Other
people's
people, yes.
responsibility more, right? I feel like this, and you might be get mad at me, but I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the players should have all taken knees because they should have stood in solidarity with Cap.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was their responsibility, just like those 57 police officers,
Mm-hmm.
goddamn, retired for their Gymboree class when those two dudes got when they got suspended, right? As a unit, we looked weak as fuck. So why does Roger Goodell and the owners have to do anything in response, right? All they had to do was take a knee. But they were so scared to lose those fucking paychecks because that money mattered more
And
than
you
black
know what?
lives.
The thing is, if all players took a knee and boycotted NFL or the leagues, they can't make their money without players.
Let's
they have
go.
to put it back
They
on
have
them.
the biggest
go.
impact,
Yeah,
and
let's
that's what I
go.
was trying to tell Rob. They have the biggest impact, and he's like, "Oh, we should just stop watching." I'm like, "That's not gonna have a big of an impact."
No.
With,
As the players
even if
getting
it's just
off.
the black players, that's still
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah,
Bro,
of
that's
the players.
70%.
They don't have revenue coming in if the players stop playing.
This-
So they should recognize the power that they have.
I wouldn't even.
Thank
you
you.
didn't even
Yeah.
have to go as far as not playing. It's so simple. Take a knee, bro. Just make the stands. You have the platform. You have listen. Sunday night football and Monday night. Monday night is a weekday holiday, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody is doing anything but football on Sunday and Monday, bro.
Yeah.
You know for a fact the fucking Super Bowl is a holiday, dog.
Yeah.
Right? We prepare for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So you have the most impact just the players taking a knee. Now, again on the other side, same way with the police. How do your teammates feel? So I can't speak to the psyche of the players to take a knee, right? But you cannot tell fans to not watch football because the players at the very fucking front lines of the situation did nothing.
Totally disagree.
We're ineffective.
No, but
Totally
think about it. They
disagree.
didn't support Cap because they were afraid of what was happening to
They
him,
let him
what
stick
happened
his own neck out.
to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now that they're at home and ain't got nothing to lose, and we don't know if it's gonna
Now
be a
they're
season or
speaking
not.
up.
Now let's put this video together, this video collage, and
I know, right?
and he responded immediately. Like that was swift. He would have responded just as swiftly if y'all would have supported Cap 4 years ago, but y'all was
Facts.
scared because y'all
Yeah.
actual
Facts.
checks on the line. Now y'all don't have nothing to
Yeah.
lose.
Totally
You ready
agree.
to speak
The
up?
reason
Totally agree.
this is what I was trying to say in text, so you're gonna get this work right now.
Well, I'm waiting so I can respond. Go ahead.
The reason why I say not to turn off the televisions is because if those black players took a knee, they were still gonna play football. And we need to support them. They still need ad money. The tickets still got to be sold. Those black people still got to get paid.
Okay.
They still got to get paid.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Because I'm ready. I'm ready for all the
So
smoke.
the only
right
way
now.
that
I
would have
can't
worked, the only way that would have worked is if the NFL players would have not played. Taking the knee, all it would have been was there would have been angry white people. They would have still watched the games. They would have still be paying their ad dollars. They would have still gotten paid.
Yep.
Only way that would have worked is would have been a work stoppage, which those NFL players can't even get on the same page in regards to a CBA agreement. So you're asking NFL players that make millions and millions of dollars that come from nothing to stop playing the very thing that they worked their whole lives to get to. So I'm a person of human nature. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get 70% of the league to all stop playing at the same time. Some of them are making multi-million dollars. Some of them are making the league minimum. You're not going to get it because they're also supporting their families. So what I was saying is that if we wanted to be in, have some type of unity and make an impact, capitalism is key. If you remove the capital, people will change. We've seen it multiple times. We've seen it with the bus boycotts. We've seen it with other times where we say we're not spending our dollar here, and people have started to change their tune. So it is a lot more easier for us as a community to say, until you guys address this issue with Kaepernick, because it is more or less going to address the people in the street. Police brutality happens to all people, but we're more affected by that than an NFL player would be affected by that. So what I'm saying is, if we all turned off the television and said, we are not going to watch your product until you speak up and say something about what's going on with Kaepernick, stop blackballing him, and address the police brutality, that would have been effective. I'm not saying that the work stoppage wouldn't have been effective. I think that would have been effective too. But that's unlikely.
I think what's even more unlikely?
That's just like an Amazon. So in Amazon, when they were going to do their work stoppage, how many people walked out? Not very many of them, right?
Man.
Because they had more to. And obviously, it's a good sacrifice, and that would have brought about change.
Bro, you don't necessarily see. This wasn't about the capital of the NFL.
It was.
No. Initially,
it's more to it than just
it was not
though.
about the capital.
Not Kaepernick, but to the owners and to Goodell, it was.
No, so you're missing the point, bro. The thing was to bring attention to what was going on.
Police brutality.
Okay, all the NFL players had to do was take a knee. That's the show.
But why didn't they?
Because they're scared to lose money.
Capital.
Right, but that's
Y'all
why I said.
actually saying the same thing more than you realize.
But the problem is this. The problem is this. You want the fans to stop watching football more than you want the NFL players to take a knee?
Because what does it affect?
But this is the thing. It's about more than Kaepernick, because now there's players coming out.
Just go back to our own football league.
Martellus Bennett came out and talked about how much racism they deal with within the league, how they're treated by the coaches, how they're treated by the owners. So
and they didn't.
This is your job. This your job. We not playing. This y'all job. So if all of this racism is going on, and you're not willing to take a stand for yourself when you have the majority, when we take a stand, our job, it just be us. It just be me, the one black person.
If they would have kneeled, would they have had the money?
They already have money, dog.
No,
there's people in the league who have millions of dollars.
Game.
Fine. You have money, bro.
And if you breach the contract, they can go after your contract and your bonus money too.
So they gonna go after all 70% of them? They're not. That's why it's unity in numbers.
I think
they're not gonna get everybody. Do you think they're gonna?
I will
they're gonna fire everybody. They're gonna stop paying everybody.
There was something you said.
No, they're not.
There are people in the league that are getting paid different amounts. So there is that. So it is hard to rally on a cause when everyone, their pay is different. Mm-hmm. So it's not equal. So it's going to be harder for most to say, you know what, fuck this job, fuck this check. When there's others that are getting paid way more. Like I guarantee you, Tom Brady is making way more than some person on the sidelines who's, you know what I mean. So it's just the pay scale is different.
And to speak to that point, most of the times when things like that work is when somebody's the face of the league. When you look at the NFL, the face of the league is what? The quarterback. We just recently got a more of an infusion of black quarterbacks. Russell Wilson didn't speak up.
They talked about
that
too.
And it's easier for us to ask people to sit out watching a game than it is for us to ask the athletes to sit out playing a game. That's true. It's true. Because we can stop watching football.
It is easier, but you're black. Most people who are our superheroes, who are our celebrities,
I understand that.
Who are the people we look up to?
It's a football game versus your job. So we as a people need to understand that it's our responsibility to boycott this shit to hurt their money than it is for the players to lose their check.
I just feel like they have more of a impact, because if you think about it, like for me on my job, they could just replace me easily. Bye, get somebody else. You're not finna go find another OBJ. You're not gonna find, you know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna just give up on their talent. This is their money. This is their investment.
And what are they gonna do if they don't play football? What are they gonna do with their lives? You know what I mean?
And look at it. And nobody can replace an OBJ, but somebody else can play receiver. And it is easier to replace an OBJ than it is to replace a Tom Brady or
so you're telling me, think about it. If you look at the defense, how many white corners are there in the league? If I'm telling you, there would be no corners. There would be, come on.
So, but you got to think about the
if
psyche
black
of the
people
player.
stop playing, they would still be able to play. Hell no, they
I
would
never
not.
agree with her.
So hold on.
But I agree.
Hell no,
So,
they
but
would not be able to continue the
right.
game
But
without
think-
us.
But think of a psyche of a player. Who is the
That's what I
cornerback?
said. Who's the psyche?
Who is the cornerback that they all look up to?
The quarterback?
Cornerback. Deion Sanders, yes? Mr. Primetime, money, hanging down, got the chains on, got the glasses on. You gonna ask Deion Sanders to stop playing football because of a police brutality issue that because he lives in
Not even just, but like I
or-
said, it's bigger than that though, because like I said,
just
they're
wanted
all
them to
coming
take a
out
knee.
and talking about the racism that they deal with within the NFL. So I mean, if they don't care about it, then by all means keep
but
playing and I'll keep
I
watching.
think their actions show that again, they're
they care?
more interested in protecting their capital.
He's basically saying they're more worried about their
Better
money,
money
but
than
we're
us, black
supposed to be
people.
more worried
That's what
about
you're
their
saying.
them.
No,
That's exactly
but the
what I'm
police
talking
brutality
about.
was about us. Kaepernick was about us, and I think that's where we're missing it. It wasn't about the players. Kaepernick did that on his own to bring light to police brutality.
But you're-
so the player,
in turn, it brought light to the racism within the
Right,
NFL.
but- right,
so
you're right.
that's a whole nother issue as well that the players should be concerned about.
But I
that they've
think
just
the original
been
issue
quiet
was the
about because they
police
getting
brutality.
paid.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That's why we're talking about the Capitol, right? You're talking about the police brutality. Yes, take a fucking knee and then go play your game. Dude, it's not that hard, bro.
But I think the only
It's not
time
that
we
hard.
see change is when the capital is affected.
I understand.
That's why
Imagine
the
if
riots
they took a
is
knee.
really
How
not-
many people you think would have stopped? How many white people you think would have stopped watching if all of them would have been taking a knee
It
every
wasn't
week?
about the white people.
But I'm saying you're saying
you're
affect
missing it,
the money.
How am I
That's not
missing
going to
it?
affect the money.
Okay, so let me. Okay, this is
There's
this is
three things
interesting.
going on here that
Yeah.
I'm hearing. There's a lot of things. We're talking about how we're going to affect a change for people victimized by police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
That's one issue. Then we got the NFL racism issue within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about the loss of capital and how that's going to affect generally, right?
Yes.
So there's three things going on. And I think all three things are important simultaneously.
And I think you can do them at the same time.
we can do them at the same time.
I agree.
Really?
What I'm saying is nobody took action. Nobody
That's what I'm
took
saying.
action.
Because
we tried
everybody's
to.
worried about their own.
No, we
Who-
didn't.
who's
I don't
Kaepernick-
feel we weren't organized enough as
Kaepernick
to,
is-
We're
to
never
not watch.
organized enough
So
till right
Kaepernick
now.
is a hero for taking a stand on something that doesn't really affect him as much as people on the streets,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
he took a stand, and that's why Kaepernick is a hero for that. And then he took heat and really sacrificed his whole damn career for
Yes.
that.
Like a boss.
But you're saying it's deeper than that because it's not just about him standing up for the little guys. They need to be standing up for themselves because there's an issue
Yes.
among the league.
That's why I was saying they have the most. I feel like they had the most power to stand behind Cap. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing where
That's
I
how I
felt
feel.
like Michael Jordan could have got Scotty a better contract. He could have used his
Power. He
influence.
coulda.
You know what I'm saying?
Coulda.
And they had the influence to really
Yeah.
help him in
And
that
there's
moment
nobody-
more than.
That's why we need a team to rally these folks to tell them that kind of thing because they don't realize A, the power that they have, and two, how it affects people on a mass scale, and three, sometimes they get paid so much money that they don't even realize the injustices that they are actually facing.
And that's what I'm
they're,
saying.
And they're willing to ignore it because of the millions of dollars that they're getting
Because
paid.
they're in a
That's
totally
real.
different space.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
connected anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's
And that's
true.
why when they come back, oh man, how come you don't come back to the hood no more? You bigger than us,
because
whatever,
I'm
whatever.
getting paid. It's
Right.
fine. You
So,
know? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna have to have a deeper conversation
Yeah.
about how capitalism to me drives racism. But
Yeah.
Hey,
we gonna get
I
into that
agree that
conversation.
capitalism drives racism, but
So
I
then,
also agree
to-
they should have done their job.
And I get it. And I think the only way for you to dismantle racism
It's to loot
is to
and burn it all down.
is to dismantle capitalism
And
at,
It's
at
true.
its core.
Because capitalism drives individualism, and
What-
it makes
what-
us forget about community. And
Everybody else
that's
around
yeah,
you.
and that's the key.
Well,
And that's why athletes do have a responsibility because as long as you're playing in front of children and old people and the masses, and you're getting sponsorships to be viewed by many, you
Come
have
on.
a duty
Come
to
on.
put out the message
Come
of
on.
community. Don't tell me otherwise. What is teams? What is sports?
come on,
That's
man.
the whole point.
Facts.
Bro, you have to be here every week.
That's good conversation. Hey, she might. Hey,
I just might
she's
have
always
we might
always
have
a
to
friend of the show.
friends of the
regular,
pod.
Friend of the
yes.
show
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, man. Next episode.
Right.
Next topic. Should artists get a pass?
Same thing.
Kanye West. So we saw him marching in Chicago in his old neighborhood.
Photo B had
And
a
he
bunch of stuff
also
like
donated $2 million to the families of the legal teams of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And he also set up a college fund for George Floyd's daughter. So, and then we also have heard the comments of Lil Wayne. So I want to talk about Kanye West first. I'll play the Lil Wayne clip. Should we embrace Kanye West back? Should we, should we give him a pass? I guess that was the question, right? Should we give Kanye West a pass?
I feel like you should embrace anybody if you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of like we want to talk about people not being judged on their past or being able to restore themselves, and if we don't allow them to do that, then we're just the same as the oppressor doing the same thing to us. So, I mean, if he's doing the right thing and it's genuine, then
okay.
I don't know.
I know you had some very disparaging comments about Kanye, so go ahead.
The clown in the monkey suit. But that's how I felt about him. But if he was on a secret spy guy, I wear this MAGA hat to get close to you. Isn't it the same thing that they do to us? Right? Kanye.
I would say. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I think Kanye has some mental issues. He's admitted to them. It's very clear. I don't think we should take too seriously what he does in some of his episodes. He's disturbed, and he's expressed that. So I'm not gonna hold it against him to the point where I think he's a horrible human being. I think he's definitely misguided, definitely disturbed. He's hurting a lot, and he's having trouble. And also, he's a bit of a provocateur. He does things to incite reactions. He thinks that's what he's supposed to do as an artist. So he does it on purpose just to push buttons and then do something to follow it up to say, hey, and that's why I did this, because it was a PR stunt.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of Kanye. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're not buying it. You're not buying that he did the whole MAGA thing as a
I don't
secret
think
spy
that was
guy
truly in his heart what he really thinks. I do think though he is a victim of capitalism at its he is like the poster child for
He's
that.
for wherever he can get some money at.
Yeah, he's like, wherever I can get, you know what I mean?
Sunday service.
Yeah, exactly.
All of that,
It's all for
I
the
miss
show.
the old Kanye. Like he did
but
his
I
freestyle.
love Kanye for what he's done for music.
Yeah.
As a pioneer for music, as a producer,
Yeah.
his style. Kanye has, carved out his own,
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
And musically, he's a genius.
Right.
Yes.
So, that's what I think.
Photo B.
Give him his props for what he did
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Still remember what the hell he has been doing for the last couple of years any damn way.
It's gonna take more than just one.
So the
Right.
question. So does he get a pass?
Temporarily.
Temporary
Yeah.
pass.
Right. Yes.
Hall pass.
You get a applause. Good
To
job.
be determined.
Good job.
Right.
Keep it up.
We'll
He
revisit.
gets, he gets the hall pass.
Yeah.
We'll revisit.
Yeah.
I think
We're watching you, though. Keeping our eyes. What do you think?
I think Kanye, when it comes to artists, I think you can separate the artist or the art from the person.
Right.
With Kanye West, because I know the behind the scenes where a lot of his big records were ghostwritten.
Right.
By other people.
I think we fell in love with Kanye because we thought that was his message.
Facts.
And I think that kind of came into question because a lot of it wasn't really his,
Give yourself
his artist.
that.
So I love Kanye the artist because of how he's pushed music forward and how he's given a light to Chicago. But Kanye West the person, I feel bad for him. I think he's been through a lot, and I think he's confused. I think he's misinformed, and I think those are one of the people that we need to pray for.
Yeah.
Because I think he gravitates towards powerful people so much that he's easily influenced.
Yep.
And I think with his genius in his mind, he should be more forward thinking instead of following behind a trend or a wave to kind of get to be heard. And I think that's really that Kanye West's whole career, he's always fought to be heard. When he got to Rockefeller, they didn't want to rock with him because he had the pink polos and stuff, and he had to fight for that. Then he finally got to a level where he was heard. Then it was, now you're too backpackers. Now you're too conscious. We don't want to hear that because we got Beanie Siegel and we got all these
It's
other
hard
rappers.
out here.
Yeah,
It's hard out here for all
he's
of them.
fought
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hard to get to the point he's at
yeah.
that I just think he's always had
So
that.
you're talking.
back against
I
the wall.
told a friend. I told a friend the other day that I said, your whole life, one of the traumas that I recognized in that person's life was you fought for something. So you had to fight for everything that you had.
Your whole entire life.
Now you fight for things that you don't even need.
Right.
Right. And you can't let certain things go because you're so used to fighting for stuff. You fight and fight. So this is what I see with Kanye West. as I said, many moments in Kanye West's career, I feel like he's a clown, bro. I feel like he's a puppet, and there's a puppeteer. You know what I'm saying? And you see it over and over and over again. It's popular to be pro-black right now, right?
And you can't even do that.
Right, it's popular.
It's trendy.
It's
trendy.
It's
Yeah,
trendy.
it's trendy.
So that's what he does, right? I guarantee you, there's some Yeezys coming out around the corner. I guarantee you.
I hope that he marched for his own
beliefs,
just because of his own.
I am appreciative of the stance he has right now, like she said, and Kanye West has my respect. But I still have my own opinion about how it looks.
No, and that's true.
You know, how it looks to me.
And to Liz's point, we only see Kanye pop up when he's trying to sell us something.
That's it. That's right. Yeah.
And he's not visible any other time.
No, that's it.
So, you know, so we'll see.
What happened to Sunday service? Oh, coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, Lil Wayne.
Oh man.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, let's listen to this.
And you know what's so funny is that people just have a short memory. I remember when Lil Wayne said Black lives don't matter to him, and I remember when he said racism does not exist.
I do.
So it's kind of right the same.
He got saved by a white police officer.
Yeah, that's
So
let's
there
go ahead.
that is.
What's going on now? What we see with Big George.
Yeah.
So you have a unique perspective. What do you think about what's going on?
Anytime somebody says you have a unique perspective, that means some BS is about to follow.
Trash.
Right now with this cop on Big George stepping on his neck and all that.
I think when we see these situations, I think we also have to understand that we have to get very specific. We have to get so specific, and what I mean by that, we have to stop viewing it with such a broad view. Meaning, we have to stop placing the blame on the whole force and everybody of such a certain race, everybody with a badge, and we have to get into who that person is, and if we want to place the blame on anybody, it should be ourselves for not doing more than what we think we're doing. We leaving it at the reason why people always ask me, like, why you don't say this, why you don't do that, is because what else am I gonna do after that? Some people put a tweet out and they think they did something. Some people wear a shirt, they think they did something. What you gonna do after that? Did you actually help the person? Did you actually help the family? Did you actually go out there and do something? So if I ain't about to do all that, then I ain't about to do nothing. I pray for you.
You say the follow through is more important than wearing the shirt or talking about it. Is actually
learning about it. What we need to do is we need to learn about it more. If we want to scream about something, know what we're screaming about. We want to protest about something, know what we're protesting about. Because if we want to get into it, it's a bunch of facts that we think we know that we don't know. So if we want to get into it first, know what we're talking about before we talk.
I played it for context. Hold on.
Listen, this man said, know what we're protesting.
Okay, hold on.
Steph. Right? Does he even notice?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, know what we screaming about. Police brutality, right? Or am I tripping? Like, has he been paying attention? That's my thing. Like, just because you don't know what we
have been doing,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't come on now?
He's so disconnected.
You can't speak,
you guys.
Exactly.
Totally,
completely.
He has been disconnected since he dropped Truck Fit. And he started realizing that he has to appeal more towards white money.
Right.
So since then, he hasn't really cared.
That was Fat Joe, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. I don't understand how you can live in this day and age and we all get the same internet, right? We all get the same Facebook. We all get the same Twitter.
Right.
We all get the same Instagram.
Yeah, sure
right?
Ain't turning anything on.
I think he got like Instagram Plus or something.
Right. We all. He's got his own version. But as I said before, his life was saved by a white police officer.
Yes.
Right. Which may change his perspective one time. You can have a memorable moment, and you can have a respect for the police officers, and you can have a respect for that man that saved your life, right? But you still have to be honest with yourself and honest in the world you live in. Wayne, people only love you because you're Wayne, bro. If he looked how he looked and walked around in a regular every day, am I lying?
Right.
Am I lying?
No, you're right.
If he looked how he looked, and he wasn't Lil Wayne, right? And he moved the way he moved, he would encounter the amount of racism that everyone else does.
He'll get chokeholded in a heartbeat.
Just because People love you, right? Because people see. This is why we go back to knowing yourself, what we talked about a little bit earlier, and understanding your position.
Yes,
right.
facts.
Because all you're doing is defaming all of the real issues that we have as black people.
Yes.
And you are responsible for that. He's as responsible for that as Trina is for calling us animals, right? You can't do it.
No.
You can't do it.
No.
You can't. You come from a black woman. You're from a black man with black brothers and black sisters, and you're gonna tell me you don't see the racism?
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of people are saying about celebrities and stuff. It's
See,
like
that would
if
be
you don't
sad.
say nothing, then I feel like some of them just shouldn't. I mean,
Wayne is one of them.
you know what I mean? My thing is, if you're gonna be counterproductive, then maybe you shouldn't say nothing.
Why is no one pulling him to the side and schooling him?
Because he's
my
Wayne.
question.
Well, no, who can?
Yeah.
Who's Wayne?
That's the question.
Yes,
Who
man
can?
is around.
Birdman.
And so he's just like untouchable. Like
need
he
to talk
can't
to you,
hear
son.
from anybody. Nobody wants to holler at him real quick.
He's Wayne.
That's
And
Birdman. You need to get in there like that. I need to talk to
so
you, son.
no pass for Wayne.
No pass
No
at
pass
all.
for Wayne. No
Not
pass
even a
for
hall
Wayne.
pass. I wouldn't
If
even
this
let
was
him go
hold
to
on,
the restroom.
if this was height, drought, dedication,
Go to the restroom.
Carter 1, 2, or 3, squad up, Lil Wayne. Would he get a pass?
Yes, I did. This is the thing.
Because he has gotten a pass.
You said, would he get a pass?
Yes.
No.
No,
So,
he
okay,
doesn't. It
so-
doesn't mean that he doesn't make great music.
Wait, hold
You
on.
just said that you can separate. You said it about Kanye. You can separate the artist from what he is. Because who knows if Lil Wayne's writing all his own songs? Shit, nobody
he's
knows.
Not. Well, he wasn't.
Well,
so
okay
so
then.
so I guess that's my question. Does the pass tied to your performance? Wayne is not hot right now. I think it's easier to say he doesn't get a pass. But if this was hype Wayne, when he was on T-Pain
I didn't
singles,
give him a
and
pass.
still not
when he
giving
was
him a
hot
pass.
Still not
so
getting no
things he said.
pass, bro.
no
No.
pass, no
No.
pass,
No.
no
Like
pass,
I said, we can give
no
him a hall pass to the
Okay.
bathroom, bro.
I'm just making
No.
sure because we gave him a pass for the Black Lives Matter comment.
Who? Who's we?
The culture,
Oh,
the
okay.
culture.
The culture did.
See, here we
We
go with
gave
this
him a
culture
pass.
Did we
bullshit
give
again.
Kanye
Here we
the
go
pass?
with this culture.
We didn't give him a pass.
Some people did.
Really?
Yeah, with the
He was
magnet.
able to
You
do the
gotta-
Sunday
you gotta
service
think
after.
about
The
though.
whole
Black people are
slavery
very
thing
forgiving.
being
We are very forgiving.
We are very forgiving.
What was the last Carter he put out?
We
I
try
don't
to understand, right? We're always
You
trying to
know, we
understand.
do.
And I'm trying to understand Wayne too, but no, I can't understand the fact that he is choosing to stay
It's a
in a
conscious
bubble. He's making that choice
Yeah.
to be like
He
that.
is. I feel like it's a conscious decision to
Yeah.
respond
It
the way
is.
he responds.
It is.
He's
It's a
choosing to
conscious
not give a
decision.
shit.
It is.
He's
Okay.
so smart, bro. You hear how he raps? You hear how he puts words together? He's so well thought out.
Kanye is misguided in his shows. This guy is clearly making a
It's a
clear
decision.
choice.
It's a
Yeah,
decision.
no,
That is
there's a
true.
difference.
I will say this for Lil Wayne. I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
It's okay.
How dare you?
Right.
How dare you basically shit on the community that has funded and supported you for all these years? And it's interesting to me that it seems like the children celebrities are the most out there. Like when you think about it, Lil Wayne, obviously he started in Cash Money from the very beginning with 12, 13, whatever. Raven Simone, Orlando Brown, all these children celebrities are crazy. And it's like with Lil Wayne, it's
you
like,
get Bow Wow?
dude, we've listened to we grew up on your music.
Yep.
And it was Cash Money.
Yep.
F the police.
Yep.
We're black millionaires. We're entrepreneurs. We're this and this and that. We're thugs. We're this and that. And then you turn around and say racism doesn't exist.
Right.
Black lives doesn't matter to me.
Right.
I'm not connected to that. I'm connected to my flag. Which at the beginning of your career you were wearing
Crip.
a blue flag,
You
and
were
now
a
you're wearing
Crip.
a red flag.
Now you're a blood.
Right?
Show some inconsistencies.
Who are
man.
you?
He doesn't
Right.
know. He's
Who are
whoever's
you?
popular. Weren't they all Crips? And then
Yes.
they were okay. I'm just making sure. Hey, but this is
another
the,
onus to capitalism.
This is
That's
Right?
what I'm saying.
This is also
Follow
the
the money.
Injustice program. So you said earlier, Bloods and Crips need to unite. That's all Wayne was trying to do. Trying to bring them all together.
All right, last topic for the Internet Wins the Day before we get to the trash segment. Is it time for reparations? So
It's
Robert
been time.
Johnson, the BET founder,
Get out of
has
here.
asked and has encouraged that we need to be asking for $14 trillion in reparations.
At least.
Is it time for reparations, and is $14 trillion enough?
Man, ain't never enough. Ain't never
Go ahead,
enough.
Steph.
Oh, me? I mean, when you see all, like you said, all these companies that are pledging this money, I feel like it can be pulled into I mean, I add up what they already have said they're gonna pledge.
So let's put that into context. The NFL has donated $20 million. TikTok has donated $3 million. Bank of America has donated $1 billion. Michael Jordan and Jordan Brand will donate $100 million over 10 years.
So that's what I'm saying. And there's plenty more, because when people started putting out their PR statements, they were saying, you know, we're gonna donate this amount to whatever. I mean, what's wrong with donating that to reparations?
LAPD is going to defund the police by $150 million and put that directly into the black community. Yeah. Rajeo.
Well, everybody else got reparations.
So why not
the
us?
Jews, the Japanese, right? And it didn't take them no goddamn 150,499 million years, right? And we just passed out stimulus checks from thin air. Don't tell me you can't create reparations.
It'll show one thin air. We're gonna be paying for that for a long time.
They just, here's a stimulus check, here's a stimulus check, here's a stimulus check, right? Why is it that we had the longest workload, right? And
built the country.
And we built the country, right? From start to finish, we built this shit, right? And then you don't want to give us reparations, but you give reparations to everyone else? You give stipends to everyone else? You understand what I'm saying? Hey, look, this is the coldest thing ever, man. When I was doing real estate, I worked with this Indian guy, and he said when he came over to America, they gave him money, right? He used that money to buy his first house. I sold it to him, right?
Yeah.
He put $120,000 cash down. That he didn't have any money. They gave him money and they helped him open a store. And that was back in 2004. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2005, 2006, whatever, right? But they gave him money when he came here. Bro, I've been here my whole damn life. You know what I mean? I've been in America my whole life. No, reparations been past time. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. We should be inheriting generational wealth from when our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers
got their reparations.
Facts.
Yeah.
Let me bar out one
It's
time.
almost an insult to be talking about it now. It's like, let's start with an apology of how it's so fucking late. Excuse my language again.
No, you're right.
Yeah, no, it's just too late. But let's start. Let's start yesterday. I mean, and like the amount of money needs to be an ongoing, not a one time. It needs to be ongoing. You know what I mean? Like, indefinitely. Because how are you going to pay for the mental illness that's inflicted? That will never go away. Period. You know, the system, that's what I'm saying, man. The system that we need to dismantle is only from now on. But what about everything that's led up to this point that we will never heal from? That's just the dynamic that we have to live with forever. That's never going to change.
The trauma that was passed down.
Yeah.
In many different forms.
Trauma,
yeah.
Bro, generational trauma.
Mr. BJ, it's time for reparations.
It was time for reparations a long time ago.
Yeah.
The day after slavery, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
We shouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't.
Please.
That's
That's what I'm saying. It's like untouchably insulting to
What
even.
you got, G?
Yeah.
He took a moment of silence for
The work has
thought.
been done. It's time to pay the bill.
Yep. Yep.
If you can
He
give,
trying to go viral.
if you can give residents in Alaska money monthly or yearly just because they live in Alaska, then you can recognize that you should be giving black people money for living in this racist country that has never ever acknowledged us the same exact way. And I don't want the money. I want land.
Yep.
I want some type of combination of the two, because we got to think about what really makes you wealthy. It's not the house, it's the land that the house is sitting on, right?
Yep.
Or it's not the business, it's the land that the business is sitting on. Like I was watching the McDonald's documentary, and that's how he got rich. He figured out that it's not the franchises that is worth the money, it's the land. And then you charge the franchisees to build on the land. You still own the land. They own the franchise.
Yep.
So for us, we need the land, not the money, because the money will come after or get both. And what I'm saying is that because the majority of these land assets are frozen, they're not going to move. They're going to stay within the families. They're not selling them.
Right.
And that's why it was so important for them to give the Native Americans the reserves.
That's why we didn't get the
land.
That's why we didn't get the 40 acres in the middle.
And that's why we can't build our communities, because we don't own anything.
Right.
So give me the land. If you want to give us some money on the side, that's cool too. Give us the land, because we built it. We farmed it. We, agriculture. We made this country the economic power that it is today.
Yep.
And everybody has benefited from it.
Yep. Every race, every culture,
everybody
creed
has
that's come here.
The Statue of Liberty was a black woman.
Yeah.
We built the White House.
Come on, bro.
So, we need the land.
Yep.
And it's time. It's been past time, but it's time that I think we finally got serious. Because before we kind of asked, and Bernie Sanders kind of danced around it, Hillary kind of danced around it. Trump didn't even acknowledge it.
Real time.
No.
Yeah.
It's now.
It's now.
It's now. It's been now.
Yep.
So, all right. So now we are at the trash segments.
Hey man, roll the clip.
The Michael Moore clip?
Yeah, let me first give my nominees, man, my grateful nominees, man. Tokyo Jets, I love you, but you are trash as fuck. Trina, Wayne, Ye, Candace Owens, trash as fuck. Donald J. Trump, Tommy Lauren, Laura Ingraham, the whole white supremacy delegation, Steven Crowder, Jake Fromm with your trash ass talking about let's just give superior white people. Let's raise the prices for guns so only white people can protect themselves.
No. He said elite
white people.
Wow.
He said let's raise the prices. So he said elite white people like myself.
What?
Is what
He said this?
That's what he said.
Oh,
Jake
hell
Fromm,
no.
you are trash as fuck, sir.
Oh my.
Drew
goodness.
Brees, trash as fuck, sir.
Yeah.
Look it. We can go on and on and on and on.
Oh man.
But these are my top picks for people who are trash as fuck, sir. Let's not forget the Minneapolis Police Department.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are trash as fuck.
We
The
know
New
that.
York
Number
Police
one.
Department,
We know that.
the Buffalo Police Department,
yep.
trash as
And
fuck.
New York City Police Department.
Trash as fuck.
LAPD.
All
Look,
y'all.
listen to me.
So who's your number one trash?
Trash
Number one
as
trash.
fuck, bro.
Trash.
Who's your number one?
My number one trash? Roll the clip, man. Michael Moore with your dumb ass. Trash as fuck.
For the safety of Los Angeles, last night we saw the full impact of the curfew with our ability to police areas of downtown and particularly and also the west side, but also the valley where we saw roving groups of individuals that were not compliant with the curfew and we believe were out to loot and prey upon businesses in our community. And our officers' actions were able to make to identify those individuals and make a number of arrests. Last night, just under 700 arrests. And within those 700 arrests were 70 individuals who were either burglarizing or looting, victimizing businesses further. So what that tells me is that two things. We didn't have protests last night. We had criminal acts. We didn't have people mourning the death of this man, George Floyd. We had people capitalizing. His death is on their hands.
Wow.
As much as it is those officers.
Wow.
And that is a strong statement. But I must say that this civil unrest that we're in the midst of, we must turn a corner.
Hey, man, cut it off.
From
What?
You didn't hear that? That's the first time you heard that?
How?
That's the first. That makes you feel some kind of way.
He did take it back. He retracted his
It's
statement.
too late.
No, it's too late.
He
It's too
can't
late.
unsay
He
that.
said it.
As my
Yes,
man
he
Charlemagne
can't
would say,
yeah.
you are donkey of the day with your trash ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, so Donald Trump told in a press conference, he said that George Floyd would be great. He would be smiling down on us because today we opened up 2.5 million jobs back in America. It would be a great day for him. What? Trash. Michael Moore said that the looters, they arrested 700 people. And of those 700 people, 70 of them were actually doing crimes, right? 700 protesters you arrest, 70 of them were doing crimes. That's 10%.
Exactly.
So you did a hell of a job,
Yeah.
right? And then you go as far to say that they're responsible
responsible?
for George Floyd's death because they're looting? Did he tell you how many people were white?
Oh
In
my
those arrests,
God.
come on,
Nope.
bro. You were trash as fuck,
Yeah,
bro.
bad enough, bro.
How dare you, dog?
Yeah,
how dare you, bro?
Yeah.
You're in the same place where you beat Rodney King. How dare you,
Yeah.
bro? The LA race riots, bro.
LA is the worst.
He didn't learn?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Trash ass fuck. God damn, bro.
Yeah.
Look, I could go on forever, bro. But Michael Moore, bro, you are the trashiest of trash with your white supremacy ass.
Yep.
Don't propagandize my network with that bullshit. Trash as fuck.
All right.
All right.
So we have done with the Internet Wins Today in the trash segment.
God.
So whenever we have a guest on the Reverb Experiment podcast, we always play the game One's Gotta Go. So Steph is going to go ahead and get us started, and we're going to see which one got to go.
All right. So today, the contenders for One Gotta Go. Out of these 4 artists.
Man,
we
did this to me.
We looked at your pages. We looked at all your pages.
Oh man.
So out of these 4 artists, Lauryn Hill,
Oh man.
J. Cole, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, that's hard.
All socially aware
hard.
artists.
Man.
Who got
And
to
them
go?
and all their work.
I refuse.
You can't refuse. You got to pick one.
I can't pick one. And this is what I do.
What about the one? What about the fact that one is already gone?
What about?
Well, I mean,
But it's him and it's all his work. Above the Rim.
I know.
Juice.
Yeah.
movies. Oh,
What about
movies
Lil Wayne?
too.
Can we just take Lil
No,
Wayne?
we can't put Lil
Lil
Wayne.
Wayne was not on the list.
What you say, Photo B?
Just give him just have Lil Wayne to scapegoat. Nah,
So
who you gonna
Lauren,
give away?
Lauren
Scapegoat.
Hill, Tupac,
J. Cole.
J. Cole or
and
Kendrick.
Or Kendrick.
Ooh.
Liz, you got to go.
Damn.
One's
man.
got to go.
That's not fair.
It's not supposed to be.
I
It's
don't
not.
know, it's really not supposed to. I'm just gonna really hang myself no matter what
Facts.
I say.
Facts. We're about to drag you in the comment section for
Damn.
sure.
I know. I'm gonna get. they're gonna
All right,
come
on
for
3,
me.
answer. 1,
Fuck.
2, 3, go.
Oh, I can't do it.
Don't be scared.
Okay, we're going to come back to you.
Okay,
Go ahead,
come back
Steph.
to me.
Steph.net.
I'm gonna say Kendrick.
Okay. Rajeo.
Don't look at me like that.
All right, got to go, huh? That's a protest
Come
anthem.
on,
Go
say
ahead.
your answer. Don't worry about what I said.
You're from the West.
Dog.
I know, right?
If you ever have to pick between Kendrick and Cole, Cole is out of here, and he is amazing. If
I
you
love
ever
Cole.
have to pick between Kendrick and Cole, and those are the only 2 you can really pick.
Okay.
Pop can't
Well,
go.
okay. Because I was gonna go for Cole, right? Because I can't
I'm
give up
going
Tupac
Kendrick.
no matter what. I would rather die than give up Pac. and Kendrick too. Like Kendrick is just really the next Pac. To me, he's on
Facts.
that level. And Lauren is on her own. Like she's set the
Movies,
trend as
everything.
a female MC. I'm never gonna give up a female MC. Cole is the reason though I'm not able to let him go so easily is because what he's doing now for the youth.
He was at the protest.
And he's protesting.
He's the mecca right now for the young generation now. Kids don't know Pac like we know Pac. Kids don't know Kendrick and Lauryn Hill the way the kids know J. Cole right now. So that's why I can't let J. Cole. But for me, my foundation is Tupac, and Lauren and Kendrick being the next Pac. So, you
So
know,
your answer.
that I can't. I don't have
Stop
an answer.
dancing.
It's the West.
Stop
Yeah.
dancing.
It's the West.
One's got to
Leave it
go.
at that. Let's just leave it at that.
It's
One's
the
got to
West.
go.
Which one?
Okay, I gotta let go of Lauryn Hill.
Oh.
If it's because of what is she protesting? Where's she at?
No,
right
no.
now?
I understand what you're
Push
saying.
the
womp, womp, womp
I
button.
understand.
Push the button. Push the button.
He said, "Put the walk button."
I understand. I understand. I understand.
Lauryn Hill, and I love the Fugees. Fugees, listen, somebody asked me.
yes.
Somebody asked me what introduced you to hip hop. When did you fall in love with hip hop?
Right.
Fugees was why I fell in love with hip hop.
Right, right.
Okay, but if you haven't had an album out in 20 years and you're not standing for the people right now,
understand.
I'm gonna have to let you go
feel
for
it.
somebody who's taken the
I understand.
baton.
I understand.
That's
All right.
Photo B.
Cole.
Cole. That was easy.
He always is.
Who'd you pick?
Kendrick.
What?
We're together. Yeah.
But why? Okay, I want to
Somebody-
hear
oh
why.
my
So look,
God.
so this
Hey,
is
no, I agree, bro. This one was really hard because
hard.
my first pick was Lauryn Hill too, but Lauryn Hill did some really good film.
well, it's there's
Yeah.
there's no good answer.
No,
There's
No.
no good answer.
And
I
that's why
love
that's
Lauryn
what we
Hill.
do.
I love Lauryn Hill.
I picked Kendrick because Lauren has too much of a generational impact. she has influenced her and a bunch of the other artists. And I still listen to the Miseducation Lauryn Hill to this day.
Me too.
Dang.
I know. And like I said, there's no
Lost
right answer.
Lost Ones.
As long as I got us, nigga, we gonna be all right.
Dude.
Tupac, you can't get rid of Tupac because of movies and because of the music.
Bro, you tripping.
And he has influenced a generation of conscious rappers. J. Cole, because the reason he said he's with the people, he's protesting, and
he's our future right now, though.
Yeah.
He really is. We need
there's
him.
no right answer, but if
Yeah.
I had to pick one,
Yeah.
musically, I love Kendrick's message. It's just hard for me to listen to Kendrick.
Have you
I'm
listened?
not really into the music.
But have you?
Kendrick's music hard.
Have
No,
you
no,
listened?
it is hard.
But that's because I'm a hella musical ass person though.
And
I play
he
all the
has
Kendrick goes hard.
he has
I'm
new
telling
age
you.
classes. He
Yeah.
does.
In this room?
He does.
Yeah.
See, but I like
Yeah, me too.
Kendrick when he's just rapping. I think when he does the voice fluctuation and that's when
But
I'm
he
like
stands for
sonically.
something
Loving you is
too.
educated.
He does.
Loving you is complicated. Loving you is
To me,
complicated.
it's just like
Y'all had to hit me
when he
with
was
that.
rapping on Control. I was like, okay, he spit, and I'm not saying.
would've
And
loved-
again, I love Kendrick. It's just sonically when I'm listening to him, sometimes it gets hard for me to listen for a long extended period of time. Cole is more sonically pleasing to my ears than Kendrick is because I came from 90s hip hop. I came from the Nas's,
Damn.
from the J's,
I'ma change my
from the
answer.
AZs. You know what I mean?
I'll change my answer to Cole
but
because
I love Cole. I
yeah.
love what he stands for.
For my foundation is Lauryn Hill. I'm gonna stick
wanna
with my
get rid of Cole?
foundations. I'm gonna have to get rid of Cole. Yeah, just because the people could have him. You know what I mean? But for me, like my three foundation. I mean, Kendrick isn't even so much my foundation because that question we can just go on. Hip hop to me is so crucial to my development. You know what I mean? It's what I had. It's all I had.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't even allowed to listen to music. That's a
Yo,
whole other story.
either of these people, man, all of them are amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
They're all amazing.
But
We're
I
not
will
letting them
say-
go because they're not good.
Kendrick,
Yeah.
I won't let you go, dog. I'm from the West, bro. I'm from the West.
And
West.
and we still are going to support. It's just one's got to go. I will always listen to Kendrick.
Why
for what
you
he
guys
stands
pick
for.
these for?
Because they're
that's
consciously
a-
aware.
Yeah. we
I
wanna
know,
go
but that's
conscious
hard.
rappers.
Well, you should have seen the other ones that we were going to pick.
I know. I looked at them on the list. I didn't respond on purpose.
So we were going to hit you with this, but I don't. Wait,
Well, I wanna hear
I don't
this.
think
Oh, the
Steph
one-
thought it was fair.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, for this one?
Mhm.
Okay, so another one we had was One Gotta Go out of NWA,
Oh no!
Public
I'm
Enemy.
so glad you didn't do that to me.
The Roots,
Oh,
and
see?
Black Star.
Yeah, you can't do that to me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't. Thank you. Bless your heart. Because that would just kill me. I would have never go on air saying anything about any of those folks. I just can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we good. So good. Thank you
Hey,
for participating.
She's like, I got Chuck
being a
E.
good
going
sport.
on, and
Yeah.
I'm about to put me in a rock and a hard spot.
All right, well, we want to thank everybody that's been listening.
Thank you.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever venue that you're listening to this podcast. We want to thank you. We want to appreciate you spending your
Much appreciated.
your time with us. We want to thank Liz for joining the Reverb Experiment podcast. Yes. She was giving us a lot of game, a lot of,
Hella
just
good
insight
game.
from a different perspective that we don't hear as much.
Fire.
And we want to just thank everybody for supporting us. We got a lot of support, and this is only our second episode. We will not be stopping anytime soon. So for the viewers that are just tuning in late, where can we find you? When is your podcast starting? When will we be on the podcast? That's fine.
Yep. No, I'm still Busy Lizzie, spelled proper. And my podcast drops next Sunday at 6 to 8 p.m. And it's going to be found on rapstation.com under the She Radio Movement tab. I'm also going to be on YouTube under the same name, Organized Voices. Organized Voices is on YouTube, but we also have a website, organizedvoices.media. So holler at us, and then we're also on nlgsacramento.com if you need lawyer help, legal help, and protection from police brutality.
I need all that.
Facts, and we will definitely be putting all those links in the
I
description,
need
so that
all
way
of
you guys can get linked to that.
Yep.
And today, I know we're going to be protesting at downtown Sacramento
they're out
with
there.
NAACP, correct?
Yep.
Let's
The
go.
march is over. The folks are out there. There's also a block party at Cesar Chavez Park at 7.
Oh, the march is already over?
So the march itself is over.
Okay,
But there's,
but the protests are still
there's
going.
thousands of people still out there.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So
so-
we will be out there. The Reverb,
Nice.
Reverb Nation.
Yes.
That's what I want to start calling our followers. Reverb Nation.
I
We
like
want to make
that.
sure that we are empowering you to make a change in not only today but for our future. I wanted to read a quote from Abraham Lincoln, since everybody wants to start turning out quotes. So this country with its institutions belongs to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it, or exercise their revolutionary right to overthrow it. One of the founding fathers, Abraham Lincoln. So the reason why we're protesting, the reason why we are bringing insight to social justice is because things need to change. Not only just for one group of people, but for everybody. And we want to stand for what the flag stands for, which should be equality and justice for all. Absolutely. And that's all we're asking for. So this is G Focus signing off. If anybody else has anything to say before we leave, please, please, please.
Thank you for bearing with me on all my rants. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I be feeling some kind of way.
I know you do.
I do.
I'm
passionate about it.
You're definitely passionate.
Because we work hard
Yeah.
to make change. So.
Yep.
And this is, I mean, at the same time, although we're trying to spread awareness and knowledge and all that, it is still an outlet for us too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like, this is a
I'm
way for
supposed
us
to keep it an event on here?
Oh.
I
shouldn't even open up
that
door.
I don't have anything else to say to you guys during the week anymore. I'm gonna just wait.
But yeah, it is therapeutic to get it out, talk about it, you know, amongst our people.
Well, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, other people get to hear us vent. And, sometimes you hear somebody else talk about something that you wanted to say yourself. So we're, being brave in our own self by exposing our innermost feelings. And, once it's posted, you can't take it back.
That's
so,
facts.
That's the risk that we take, and we're all down with taking it.
I had fun with
Photo
this.
B.
Peace, love, and happiness. Keep vibing.
Power to the people.
Thank you.
We out.
Thanks for having us.